Welcome to the Fandom Fighters Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fandom Fighters Podcast, your weekly source of horrible shit posts. I'm Seawood Director.
I have no words.
And this is what you get when you ask me to start the podcast.
What an intro. I'm going to ask you to start it every week now. Are you kidding me?
Oh shit, I've raised his expectations.
You've raised the bar, Seawood. How am I ever supposed to top that? Getting all the news of your weekly shit posts.
Your weekly source for shit posts.
I mean, you're not wrong, though. So, yeah. So, yeah.
What you been watching?
What you been watching?
What are you playing?
What are you playing?
What are you listening to?
Anyway. Watching, I mean, me and my lovely girlfriend have started catching up with SGDQ.
Yeah?
We watched Pepsi Man.
Pepsi Man!
We watched Tony Hawk's Underground 1.
Yeah, I was here for that.
Well, you watched it again. We watched it
Oh,
last
okay.
night.
I was here for the second time you watched it.
Some of the other ones we watched, babe. Yeah.
Did you say Kaizo?
Yeah, they were
No,
super...
we watched, but that was from HDQ last year. We watched Kaizo Mario 3.
Yeah. And they watched part of the Jak and Daxter one, but not enough of it to see the best moments.
Yeah, anyway.
Like when they have to, like when they're talking about something that they really shouldn't be talking about, and they have to like come out on camera and be like, no, you can't talk about that. Multiple times, mind you.
That's great.
Yeah.
Listening to, it's all the same stuff, guys. The greatest bits, Descendants of Erdrick, Star Bomb, Ninja Sex Party. Playing a lot of the Binding of Isaac. I've been playing a lot of like the Nintendo the like 3DS Spot Pass games.
Oh yeah, so like Find Me and
like the puzzle game.
Yeah.
Just because we've been going to a lot of cons lately.
Yeah. I know someone who actually has that entirely finished. He's gotten all the puzzles filled out.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, it's like he got his 3DS to play Pokemon, and so that's like the only other game he really had. So, and he would take it with him on campus all the time.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. He's
Yeah.
a college student.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't been playing. I've been playing Pokemon Go when it decides to actually fucking work. Because a new update came out while we were at GlitchCon. I was like, yeah, awesome. I downloaded it Saturday night, Sunday morning. Shit wouldn't fucking work. It couldn't find my GPS, and so it would just refuse to find my GPS location. And I don't know why. That hasn't really happened since, but yeah, it's weird.
You didn't get an Articuno from it either.
Yeah, like, what the fuck, guys? Or it's my fucking Articuno. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I'm getting ahead of us. I'm sorry. I couldn't help but make the joke.
I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately.
A lot of YouTube. Us, both.
Yeah. I mean, well, because there's so much quality content on there. And then there's, your channel.
You can just leave now to the rest of the podcast myself. Thank you for the intro.
I told you your weekly source of shit posts.
What a bastard, guys.
The ultimate bastard.
What a bastard.
But I've been watching a lot of YouTube, and it's really good. But yeah. And I've been listening to some classical music, aka Sabotage by the Beastie Boys.
Oh, okay.
You'll get that joke if you watch the new Star Trek. But yeah.
Going back to what I've been watching lately, I'm so happy that the Game Grumps have finally brought back Pokemon Fire Red.
Yeah, you showed me like one of the
God,
episodes.
so funny.
Their fucking Beedrill was like 90s. It was in like the 80s or 90s.
If you guys haven't seen it yet and you want to, I'm about to spoil the last episode, which happened on August 2nd. I don't want to.
Click the annotation that is not on your screen right now because I'm too lazy to put that in to avoid this.
But go watch it. Stop watching the video, go watch it, and come back. It's so fucking funny. They get to Lance, and he's like three Pokemon down. All of his other Pokemon have like no health. He has Beedrill with like half health against dragon types that fuck him up. He has his Articuno, which has half health, but is paralyzed or something like that. But
it's also an ice type, so
Yeah.
it's super effective against that.
He's sitting there and he's trying so hard, and he gets it's the Linkin Park song. He tried so hard and he got so far, but in the end it didn't matter. I'm trying to like explain it right, and I'm laughing so hard at it internally. Like he gets around to it, and he struggles to beat the Dragonite and the Dragonair he has left. And was it Gengar? It wasn't Gengar. There's another Pokemon. Oh, it was Rhydon, I think. I'm pretty sure it was Rhydon. And he gets around to it, and at the very end of it, he has his Golduck, who has like no health left, and Beedrill, who has no health left. And I think he had Zapdos that was paralyzed with no health left.
How do you even paralyze the Zapdos?
I don't know. I don't remember how it happened. But he gets down to the last Pokemon, which is the final Dragonair. And it kills the Articuno. And then he switches to Golduck. And he gets it down, like, almost all the way. Like, almost all the way down. Uses full restore. He's like, fuck! Kills the Golduck. He brings out Zapdos. Lucks his way into one shot. Almost kills it. And then it kills Zapdos. He's like, he's got one hit left. Beedrill, my man, he's gonna do it. He uses another full restore.
God damn it!
It was so funny.
To quote Starbomb, God damn it, old man!
Yeah, exactly. It was so funny. I was dying. Because I looked at Chanel right before it happened. I was like, if they use another... No, it was the champion fight. He beat Lance and got to the champion fight.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the last
motherfucker
Pokemon
Blue.
on the champion fight. It lost to the very last Pokemon. It is the greatest. Go watch that series, guys. It's pure gold.
You reminded me when you were talking about the Linkin Park lyrics.
Okay.
I started reading this book I got at a recent convention. It's called Luna. It's by Garen Whitehead, and it's about I'm not very far into it, but it's about these astronauts who are going to the moon, because apparently there's some robots that got sent up to the moon to build a base, and they're going to check it out. Mm-hmm. And while they're on their way to the moon, nuclear war breaks out.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, and the world basically turns into a giant fireball. And so it's about them having to, like, make it to the moon and having to survive if that base even got built, because they're not entirely sure about it. But I remember it starts off with music lyrics.
Okay.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Thank you,
and
R.E.M.
I feel fine.
Thank
and
you,
it's like,
R.E.M.
I'm just like, what? I open up the book, I go to the first chapter, and I start laughing my ass off because that's in there. Thank you, sir. That is amazing. Oh my god, it was wonderful.
So, for the record,
And then somebody kills himself, so you know.
we don't
it's not feeling fun.
normally put reading in our first spot for watch, listening, playing because I don't read books and Steve hardly ever does.
I read a few every once in a while, you know. I read. It takes a lot for me to get interested in a book nowadays, just because it takes so much time to get through a book. Mm-hmm. As opposed to like a TV show where, yeah, if it's not the most interesting thing, I can at least multitask and be playing like a game at the same time. Books, you have to sit down, you have to focus on that pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe you can listen to music at the same time, but usually I have to like focus on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way.
Yeah, so if it's not like short or something that I'm like super hyped about, like the new Harry Potter, then
well, I pretty much I only read like news articles and stuff online.
yeah,
I've actually read a lot more since we started the podcast.
that's good.
Because I've had to actually look up more articles than I would normally read.
Yeah. Well, reading's good. I mean,
Yeah,
it helps
I know
expand your
that.
brain, you know?
I know that, but I don't know. Books don't interest me. I like a visual perspective of things.
Yeah.
I like to be able to witness what I'm doing instead of trying to imagine it myself.
Well, I feel like part of the reason why I'm so interested in being a filmmaker is because when I was young, I read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I always sort of had this mindset of, you know, reading a book is kind of like watching a movie in your head, where the author will describe a lot of the aspects for you, and you've got to envision it in your head, And so that kind of just made it to where, like, I want to get these images out of my head and onto a screen and show everybody else what I see.
That's cool. I mean, I appreciate that because I can't do that. Like, when it's like, you know, Mary is walking through the forest, I'm like, cool, there are trees and it's Mary, that's all I see. I don't span the detail myself, you know.
It's like, what kind of forest is this?
Yeah.
Is it large trees?
I want to see Mary
dark?
walking
Is
through
it
the
sunset?
forest. I don't want to read the Mary.
Is it misty? Is it spooky? Is it, you know, happy?
Yeah.
I don't know. But, talking about books,
Yeah.
this week on Here Comes the New Challenger, we've got a series that started off as a book series.
Yes. Well, it is a book series /
Well, yeah.
been adapted into movies.
Here comes the new challenger. You must crush them.
Harry Potter.
Which I know dick about. Which apparently is a gas moment. I'm sorry. I don't read books. I just
Well,
said that.
The thing, like, even like disregarding the books, the movies were a huge craze. Like,
Yeah,
in the
well,
early
no, I knew they
2000s
were.
and
I had a lot of
onward.
friends who were fans, but I never got around to watching it / had interest for it.
Yeah.
It's just not my jam. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't think it's stupid or anything. I just
Well, like
don't-
before the podcast, you were talking about like there's this point in your life when you were super religious,
Yes.
and so I thought that might be why.
No,
Because the series actually got a lot of flack from some religious groups.
Well, sure. I
because
mean,
magic.
I remember when I was a kid, I played Yu-Gi-Oh when it first came out. I mean, and I had a friend whose parents wouldn't let him because of the monsters in it, the fiends, and all this stuff. And I remember as a kid going, "Well, that's fucking dumb." But that's
Legit, when he was a kid, it had the fuck in there.
But I didn't fully understand that growing up, and my parents weren't like that. I mean, I grew up on Star Wars,
Yeah.
stuff like that. My dad's a huge comic book fan. He loves Star Wars to death.
Yeah.
I remember he took me to go see the original prequels when they came out in the theaters, and I thought they were good for a preteen. But you know, looking
the
back
only
at them later,
prequel, like I don't remember ever seeing episode 1 in theaters, and I do remember seeing a little bit of episode 2 just because I was so young at that point.
my dad is constantly reminding me of how when I was 3 years old, he took my older brother and him to go see, I think it was Batman Forever or Batman and Robin. It's one of the two.
Oh.
And they ended up crying too loud, and he ended up having to leave the theater.
Well, it's just like, but I remember episode 3 when that came out.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see it for a few weeks, and I'm so glad that the internet wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah.
Because it would have
Yeah.
been spoiled like crazy,
Oh, yeah.
like how episode 7 was. I remember I actually went to go see that with my grandpa. It's like the only movie he ever took me to go see, and I remember I remember like they get to the fight scene where like Mace Windu is about to fight the Emperor, and I look over and my grandpa's freaking asleep in the chair next to me.
That's good. Fun fact, I haven't seen that either, but it's cool.
Oh, the third.
No, I've never seen Star Wars Episode 3. I don't care to. It's fine.
the best prequel. But yeah. Anyways,
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Let's get back on topic.
Yeah, written by J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter started off in the 1990s as a series of books. They were published in America by Scholastic. I don't know who published them in the European countries. It follows a young boy named Harry Potter.
Yo.
OMG!
You're a Harry wizard.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I got my script backwards. You're a wizard, Harry.
I love the memes.
And he grows up thinking that, he's just a normal kid, but then every once in a while something weird happens. And one day he learns that he's a wizard. And he gets exposed to this huge, immense, magical world full of all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah.
There's dragons, there's, castles, there's giant three-headed Cerberus kind of dogs. There's
Your fantasy stuff.
yeah, well, and it's all mixed in with school and being a kid. So it obviously appealed to young adults.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid and like the first movie, they were getting ready for it to come out. I remember seeing on VHS tapes like trailers for it. It's like coming to theaters soon. I was like, oh, it looks so cool. And
I remember all my friends being really excited for the movies when they were first coming out.
Well, because the books were so popular,
Yeah.
I'm going to actually look up Harry Potter on on the Wikipedia.
How
See
where'd
where-
they hit on the box office? That's my curiosity.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
I'm trying to get the dates specifically.
So while he's doing that, I'm going. My biggest like exposure to Harry Potter was literally this last weekend at GlitchCon, where we recorded Take One Productions. They did the word I'm looking for.
Oh, they
Panel.
did a recast panel.
They did a panel called Recast, where
Yeah.
they basically took the script from which movie was it? Do you remember?
It was Sorcerer's Stone, I believe.
Sorcerer's Stone. I think it was Chamber of Secrets.
No, it was Sorcerer's Stone.
Okay.
It was the first movie.
Sure. Anyway, they took the script from Sorcerer's Stone, I guess, and they basically like recasted all the characters as like impressions that they could do.
Yeah.
Like,
Which this panel has actually been done by voice actors before.
Oh yeah.
I've seen it done with like Star Wars,
That's
and they'll
funny.
actually get like the voice actors to play their characters. So like you hear like Bubbles being like Darth Vader, like Pinky from Pinky and the Brain is like a freaking stormtrooper and stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, but you're everything from like Mickey Mouse to Donald Trump,
Barack Obama. was
Barack
in there,
Obama,
too.
Clinton,
The cast of King of the
cast
Hill.
of King of the Hill. Shout outs to Corey Phillips. That was beautiful.
Oh my gosh, his Skeletor impression.
The Skeletor that he had never done before. Day one Skeletor was freaking spot on.
Yeah. It's great.
You found it yet? Or
Oh yeah, so the first book, which was originally titled Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, let's bring Mom back to life.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
The first book came out in 1997,
You're a wizard, Harry.
but my name's Edward.
Shut up, Harry.
And the first movie came out in 2001.
Okay.
With the whole
I
Philosopher's
was
Stone.
10 years old.
Yeah. 2001 I would have been like 6, so yeah, with the first book and movie, with it being called Philosopher's Stone and Sorcerer's Stone. So what that was Scholastic, when they brought the books over here, they realized, well, some words don't really work in the American
Right.
English. So a few words, got changed, but they also changed Philosopher's Stone to Sorcerer's Stone
Right.
because they thought the kids wouldn't understand it,
Right.
and they thought, well, Sorcerer's Stone, hey, it's magic, and wizards and stuff.
Magic.
Magic.
Insert SpongeBob telling everybody you have to use your imagination.
Yeah. Imagination.
Exactly.
And that's something that stuck with the movies as well. So when it came time to actually do the movies, in that first film, they actually refilmed some of the scenes for the American audience because they wanted to keep it consistent with the books. That's the only instance of that happening, though, I think, in the series, other than like a few small words in the other books.
Right.
But yeah.
This movie star Daniel Radcliffe, right?
Yes, they do. Mr. Daniel Radcliffe is the.
Has he been in anything else, really? Or
He's been in stuff. I'm gonna pull up his Wikipedia
because the only
page.
thing I remember seeing ever on Daniel Radcliffe was a shot from The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
On his Wikipedia page, under career, it's Harry Potter, and then it's like pretty much just everything else.
Nice.
He was in he's been in several movies since then. He was in he was in I think it's Now You See Me Too.
Okay, that doesn't help.
Well, that's a movie
Movies I
about
have seen.
illusionists.
Yeah.
which
Movies I
is
might have seen.
oddly appropriate for him. He is in the movie Swiss Army Man.
Which is another new movie that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, he's been in stuff.
Right.
Is
No,
what
I
I'm
wasn't like trying to hit on his credibility or anything. He's
Oh,
a
no.
wonderful actor from what
Yeah.
I've seen.
I'm trying to find one. There was some movie that a little while back, like a few years. that was pretty big.
But the
Yeah, Lady in Black. Yeah, he was in that. I remember that was like the first big movie since Harry Potter,
yeah.
and I remember I was watching. I went to watch a review of it, and they had it as Harry Potter and the Lady in Black.
That's funny.
And it's like, wait, what? But he's been in stuff. Rupert Grint. He's okay. So Daniel Radcliffe's been in stuff. Emma Watson, who played Hermione, She went on to be a big like feminist icon, and Rupert Grint, who played Ron, went on to own an ice cream truck. So
Is that a joke or is that?
that is legit what happened. He owns an ice cream truck now. It's actually kind of funny. He's doing something that he enjoys though, so it's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Watch, they're gonna make like a Twisted Metal movie. He's gonna play.
He's gonna play Sweet Tooth.
Watch it fucking happen. I'd pay good money to see that.
I don't know the characters' names. I don't watch the show, but I remember there was one of the actors who played like the opposing team in Quidditch.
Yeah.
The main guy there, blonde head dude.
Oh, Malfoy.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Tiny douchebag. Yeah, I know.
yeah. There's a scene from Get Him to the Greek where they're partying in this club and he's there, and Jonah Hill's character just looks at it and he's like, "Say, you wanna go meet with me and Professor Snape later? Hey, we can go play some late night Quidditch." that's my experience with Harry Potter in a nutshell.
Well, and the thing is that Harry Potter, like, if you want to watch the movies, it's fairly accessible. I mean, the DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff are still in print. I don't think any of them are on Netflix or anything like that, but
Not currently.
they're on TV like all the time.
I don't like TV, so
Maybe you should.
nah, I'm good.
The movies ran from 2001 to 2011, and there's there were 7 books and 8 movies.
Yeah.
7 books and 8 movies. With the last book, with its film adaptation being split up into 2 parts.
Yeah, which is like an ongoing thing with movies that are adapted from the books. Twilight did it.
Yeah. The last Avengers was going to do it, but then they recently announced that it wasn't. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the one that hasn't out yet.
Yeah. Infinity War is not going to be 2 parts.
I don't know how I feel about that, but
Well, I'm fine with it, but the Harry Potter movies are generally pretty good. The earlier ones haven't aged the best because they were all child actors, so they weren't as good as they could be.
Right.
And early CGI can sometimes look uncanny.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Thumbnail: Mortal Kombat Scorpion head.
Yeah. Philosopher's Stone is all right. Chamber of Secrets, I think I've just probably seen it too many times to really like it.
I understand that.
Yeah. Prisoner of Azkaban was my favorite movie.
Uh-huh.
And then the last movie came out and it was, like, stole the show. But if we take that out of the equation, Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite. I think as a standalone movie, it's probably the best one. Like, if I wanted to get someone into Harry Potter, I might show them that. Just because I feel like as a standalone movie, it works fairly well.
Right.
Because it doesn't involve the main antagonist of the films too much.
This is Voldemort, right?
Yeah, Voldemort. Yeah, he's not in the movie at all. It has like one of his like big like major minions in it, but Voldemort isn't really in it. It's a really good like character piece. Like, it's a very good like character film because it focuses on the relationships that Harry has with these other people, and so you get to see it like him developing a relationship with Professor Lupin, and you get to see like the start of maybe something between Hermione and Ron, and like just all this stuff. And Hermione freaking punches Malfoy in the face, and it's wonderful. There's decapitation. There's people, getting their souls sucked out of their body. I mean, good wholesome family fun.
Good wholesome family fun.
Oh, and time travel. There's that too. So hey,
With timey-wimey.
yeah. Some people are like, "Oh, this creates a plot hole," and then it's like, well, yeah, but kind of not. It's weird. Goblet of Fire, most people's favorite. I personally think I personally don't think it's my favorite, but it's all right. It actually has the guy who played Edward in Twilight. He plays a major character in it.
Yeah.
And well, he's actually not bad if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Like, I don't remember him being very bad in the movie. There's Order of the Phoenix, which the book for that was over 800 pages, and it's the second shortest film.
What?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know. They cut out so much from that film. I remember I saw that one in theaters, and I remember like when it ended, I was just like, "That's it?" it's over already. Like, it goes by really fast.
That's crazy.
And it kind of create that one and stuff that was cut out of Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
In relation to Deathly Hallows. But between Order of the Phoenix and Deathly Hallows, there's Half-Blood Prince, which is a decent movie. It tries to be a bit more character focused. Although I don't know if I like it as much. It feels like it just kind of meddles around, waiting for something to happen almost.
Right.
It sort of introduces the idea of these Horcruxes, which is how Voldemort is staying alive. And the climax of the film is the biggest spoiler in the history of literature. Snape kills Dumbledore, which is a meme at this point. Like, spoiler alert, Snape kills Dumbledore.
I don't think I've ever seen that, but go on.
Really? Oh, I've seen it all over the place.
No, it's fine.
Well, it was a big deal when it came out because like there's a video online of somebody he's in the parking lot of a bookstore and the lines like out the door for Harry Potter and the Order of the for Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and he opens up the book and he looks towards the back and he goes out there and he yells, "Snape kills Dumbledore," and like everybody just gets pissed off at him. Deathly Hallows is the last book. And it is over 700 pages, I think.
It was split into 2 movies.
Yeah, so it's okay that was split into 2 movies. And I'm fine with it. Being split into 2, it's fine with me. And honestly, like the first movie, it's okay. Like, it sets up their whole searching for the Horcruxes thing that they need to do. And they find a few of them and destroy them. The climax just kind of like comes out of nowhere though. Like, so at one point in the film they find like these people who are basically searching for like wizards who Voldemort doesn't like and wants to get rid of, and they've put up like a protection spell so they can't find them. Well, they decide to apparate, which is basically teleporting somewhere, and they basically apparate like right in front of these people.
Okay.
Like right in front of them, like they appear, and those people catch them, and they end up at the Malfoy mansion, and that's where the climax takes place. And it's just all of a sudden like, oh hey, we got to end this film, so let's throw them here.
Oh, okay.
Which is not how I remember it happening in the book. I remember it being a bit different.
There's always differences between like the movie versions of books.
Yeah, and Deathly Hallows Part 2, if I remember correctly, is actually the shortest film. But damn if it doesn't go out without a bang. Like, it goes out with a huge bang. Like, you got like wizards just like battling each other and like people just firing off bolts at each other. Freaking Neville, the character of Neville, who in the earlier parts of the series is like this fat chubby kid,
right?
Who's always the butt of the joke. He like. I remember I've seen so many jokes on the internet about how puberty hit him like a freaking truck and like he like turns into like this super hot dude. Right. Like that's what I always see people talking about. And he actually becomes really competent. He fucking like has like a bunch of like evil wizards. Some of them are actually people who caught Harry and them in Part 1. They're like chasing after him on this bridge and he freaking like demolishes the bridge while they're on it. It's fucking great. It's a really good film. I really enjoy it, and it's the perfect way to end the series. Except J.K. Rowling, the person who wrote Harry Potter, like, nope, let's not do that. Let's keep going. With a stage play, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, based on a story by Rowling, premiered in London on July 30th, 2016 at the Palace Theatre. And its script was published by Little Brown as the 8th book in the series. And Warner Brothers actually picked up the film rights for that. So we might be getting another Harry Potter movie at some point.
Alright.
Yeah, and that book just came out. I haven't read it yet. It's in the mail, so I'm still waiting on it to get here. But I'm excited to read it because I loved Harry Potter growing up, and I still like it.
There's a lot of people that do.
Yeah, the films really do hold up like really well. The first two films were directed by Chris Columbus. Have you heard of him before?
No, should I have?
Oh yes, you should have, because
What else is he directed?
oh, Pixels.
Oh,
Yeah. So don't watch those movies. I'm kidding. No, he's actually been a pretty good director.
I still blame Kevin James for every bad Sandler movie we've gotten since like 2004.
Well, Chris Columbus, he wrote Gremlins and The Goonies.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He's also directed Home Alone, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York,
well, let's see.
and Mrs. Doubtfire. So he's
allowed to have one
He directed
flub.
The Help, so he's allowed, to have a Pixels. I think he's allowed to have that.
I mean, I'm sure every great director has one just utterly terrible movie.
Yeah, like even like Steven Spielberg has his bad movies. No, I'm kidding.
I'm trying to think of Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright, what's his bad movie?
What would his bad movie be?
Ant-Man. No. No, that doesn't count. Prisoner of Azkaban actually was directed by Alfonso Cuarón. I'm saying that wrong. I know it. And that's the only one he directed.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the only Harry Potter he directed. He also directed Gravity. If you
Which
remember,
is a decent movie.
yeah,
I've seen that.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. I actually really need to watch it.
It's very visual.
Yeah. And I think Chamber of Secrets was the first Harry Potter movie that really started to have a darker palette to it.
Right.
Like the first one's very bright and cheery. Even if Harry Potter age 11 kills a man at the very end,
Yeah.
literally kills a man at age 11.
Murder.
Murder, everybody.
Murder?
Oh, it was like a kill or be killed sort of situation though.
Well, fuck
Still.
him.
The fourth film was directed by Mike Newell. And I'm trying to find anything notable from him. We've got Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, everybody.
You'll see why that's funny to us in just about 30 minutes.
Oh my god. The perfect one.
Tell me he's doing The Division.
It doesn't say that. Dear God. And that's like the only one I'm seeing here.
That's great.
That's like actually
so funny.
notable.
That's so funny.
I find that interesting because, a bunch of people love Goblet of Fire, and yet he fucking directed Prince of Persia. Good God. After Mike Newell, Order of Phoenix and onward had David Yates, and the films definitely had a more coherent, sort of feel to them once he got a hold of them. He did some television work before that, and a little bit of film work apparently, but I'm not seeing anything popping out at me that's really huge.
Yeah.
Subsequent works after that, let's see, he did a feature film. Apparently he's working on like a Tarzan film.
The new Tarzan?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. And an Al Capone biopic called Cicero. He also controversially said that he was working with BBC Worldwide on plans to develop a Doctor Who film, although this was denied by showrunner Stephen Moffat in July 2012. I mean, if he wanted to do Doctor Who, I guess I'd be fine with it. He is directing the new film Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is a spin-off from Harry Potter.
Okay.
And that's like set in like the early 1900s in America.
Okay.
And that's actually coming out in, I think, November. Let me make sure of that. Oh, great. It took me to the book. No, film. Let's see. It is coming out, November 18th.
This year.
Yeah, this year.
Okay.
And it looks interesting. It'll be really interesting to see somewhere outside of England for a Harry Potter world story because, we don't really ever see, America or, anywhere else. So it'll be really cool to see that.
Yeah.
and that film was in development for a long time because the book it's based off of it's literally a textbook. In the first year Defense Against the Dark Arts class, I think that's what it is. They have to have this textbook, and so what it is it's like basically a list of like a bunch of different monsters and beasts, and it's got little things written in it from Harry Potter, like him like writing out notes and like saying stuff.
So it's legit in the same lore.
Yeah, like it's the same. It's the same lore and everything.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that film. It looks to be a very different film, but it'll probably be just as good. Also, something else that I would like to note about Harry Potter. While he didn't do the music for all the films, John Williams did do the music for the first 3 films.
Nice.
And then I think some of that music was reused in later installments as well.
Right. It's the same guy that did Star Wars.
I believe so. Let me bring up his Wikipedia page. Yeah, he did Star Wars, E.T., Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park.
Forgot he did the other good ones too.
Yeah. Oh, Jurassic Park. That reminds me. Yeah, Steven Spielberg's bad film, The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, here we got
See, proof.
Yeah, proof. See, every director has a bad film. Some of them just have that be all of theirs.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Harry Potter series, it's a bit uneven as far as the movies go. Just because like the first few of them, they're still child actors. They're still trying to get a grip on acting. I think by the time you get to the third film, especially, it gets to a really good point. They start putting in really good performances. The as adaptations of the originals, they're more or less fine. The fifth one, Order of the Phoenix, comes out a huge amount of stuff, which is a little annoying.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Well, my big issue is starting with Goblet of Fire, they brought back in the books Dobby, the house elf, who's a major character in Chamber of Secrets.
I know who Dobby is.
Yeah.
Master gave Dobby a sock. Yeah, I know.
Dobby is free!
Yeah.
He comes back in Goblet of Fire. He actually works at Hogwarts.
Huh.
They have house elves who work in the kitchen to make all the food.
I see.
Harry's like surprised at first. I thought it was just like magic they made. It's like, no, we have to have people who cook the food. And actually, it's kind of funny because Emma Watson's such a huge feminist icon and stuff, and Hermione and Goblet of Fire and onward starts being really gung ho about equality for house elves. I just think that's funny how that worked out. How she's how the actor who portrays her is really big about equality for women. That's just interesting how that worked out. But Dobby plays a fairly major part in Order of the Phoenix. And he plays a huge part in Deathly Hallows because he fucking saves Harry's life, and then dies. And that's a major problem I have with Deathly Hallows Part 1, because I feel like the emotional impact of Dobby dying was huge in the book, because we met him in the second one, and he's been there in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So he's constantly there in our minds. We're seeing him develop as a character as well. So when he dies, it hits you all the more. It hits you even harder.
Sure.
And Deathly Hallows, the last time we saw him was in the second movie.
So he never came back.
Yeah, he never came back. So what's the point? It's like, oh wait, yeah, you were.
I kind of remember you from 8 years ago.
Yeah. When
that movie came out, and I watched it when I was 12.
Yeah. Oh no, he died. Oh, this is kind of sad, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's really I think they could have done a lot better with that. Yeah. If they had just included him. With him and the house elf creature, really kind of got the shaft, because, it's either creature or creature. He shows up in Deathly Hallows Part 1 as well. He came into the story in Order of the Phoenix, though. But he had a role in Half-Blood Prince as well, and that got cut out. One omission that I've seen some criticism from towards is Peeves the Poltergeist, who's this like poltergeist who always plays like pranks on people and stuff in Hogwarts, and it's a bit campy, but it's a character who in some of the stories has massive influence. Like he has a role to play and he just gets cut out. Which is unfortunate. Outside of movies, there's been like I said, there's the stage production of Cursed Child. There's a ton of video games.
Yeah.
Mostly based off the film. So there's Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, blah blah blah, all those. They even gave Deathly Hallows 2 separate games.
Because of money.
Yeah. I remember playing I think it's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on Game Boy Advance. Yeah. I know Chamber of Secrets on Game Boy Color was fairly popular as well.
I think that's the one they speedran at SGQ this week.
It may have been. I know that Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets on console were fairly popular, but by the time I got to Prisoner of Azkaban, I didn't know anyone who I don't think anyone really cared anymore. There's Lego Harry Potter. They have 2 games for that, years 1 through 4 and years 5 through 7. And I assume those are decent because Harry Potter. Apparently there's a Harry Potter for Kinect game.
Yeah, I've seen like a trailer for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, there's a Harry Potter version of like Pokemon Go is getting like a Harry Potter redub kind of thing to it. That's happening.
I heard that. I thought that was just a joke.
I'm fairly certain it was. I'll look that up.
Yeah, look that up right now. There's also Pottermore Book of Spells and Book of Potions. I didn't know there was a Book of Potions one. Pottermore is basically like this like online website that basically includes like a bunch of expanded lore for the series. For example, that's where it was first revealed that Dumbledore is gay, which was never said anywhere in the books because it didn't matter in the books.
Right.
Apparently he was gay. I don't really think it matters, but
they throw it in there for like the agenda, basically.
J.K. Rowling just said it for some reason. I don't know why. She says stuff sometimes.
She says stuff sometimes. And yeah, it looks like Harry Potter Go was a hoax.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Book of Spells, though, is an augmented reality video game for PlayStation 3. It's one of I remember they showed it off at
We actually have that
E3.
here in the house. I didn't know that was a Harry Potter game.
Yeah. Well, it's from J.K. Rowling and it's part of Pottermore. Let's see. It was made in conjunction with J.K. Rowling as a companion to the Harry Potter series. And it is a PlayStation Move game.
Yes.
Like, you need that to play the game. The user casts spells by drawing shapes with the PlayStation Move controller, while the book itself uses augmented reality technology to appear on screen via the PlayStation Eye.
Yes.
And I remember when they showed this off at E3 during the Sony press conference, everyone was just like, we don't care. Just move on to the next thing. Oh shit, now it's golf.
No, bring back Harry Potter. No, we were kidding. I'm sorry.
Like, legit, like, whenever they were showing their PlayStation Move stuff, that shit was so boring.
Well, that's how I felt about PSVR, so...
Yeah. But there's been a lot of stuff. There's even an amusement park. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
That's cool.
Yeah, they have it at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
That's cool.
And then there's also a version in Osaka, Japan.
Huh.
Which, by the way, it was really large. Like, the one in Osaka was really large. Nintendo's getting a section in Universal Studios Japan. It's going to be even larger. Woo! It's going to be, like Wizarding, like, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is gigantic. And they even have, the castle. They even have Hogwarts Castle in there.
Yeah.
And the Nintendo Land is going to be even larger.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah. Basically, whenever you go to Universal in Orlando, like, every time I've heard someone go there, they always talk about Harry Potter. And it's always super packed in there.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But Harry Potter, it's really good. The books are good.
You like to read?
Yeah. Well, and if a bit lengthy later on, I highly recommend watching the movies. Bear with them because the first two are kind of, iffy because it's got that early CGI and it's got child acting. But by the time you get to the third one, they're pretty good.
Right.
And yeah, check out the new book that came out because hey, why not?
Yeah.
Going from Harry Potter, I actually saw a Slytherin cosplayer this weekend at GlitchCon.
Woot.
Slytherin's one of the houses that you can be in Harry Potter.
Oh.
Yeah, like there's Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw. Like you basically get sorted into these whenever you go into school because segregation.
I remember that by the panel, the recast panel. They did that scene.
Yeah.
Was it the
who's the sorting hat in that?
the cast of King of the Hill?
Oh yeah, that's right. Kept changing
the entire cast of King of the Hill played the sorting hat.
Freaking Boomhauer. And like everyone else was like what, like a hick or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody else was playing like rednecks or hick.
Yeah. It's great.
It was really funny. If you guys see that Take One is coming to a con near you, go to it.
Yeah, Take One Improv, everybody.
They're so good.
Corey J. Phillips. He's the kind of Corey I want to be.
And Corey J. Phillips said that Corey Wood is the type of Corey that he wants to be. I don't know why.
And then we did the fusion dance, and we became.
I have a picture of that actually.
Yeah, we did the fusion dance, and we became
not
Johnny
great.
Young Bosch. So it's like, oh, this is what this is like.
So yeah, we're gonna talk GlitchCon for a little bit. Give our, I want to call it review. It's more of just a discussion, really. We're just gonna like talk about what we experienced, what we liked, what we didn't. Speaking of our experience, between 1 and 5, Seawood, where would you rate your experience?
With GlitchCon,
Yes.
2016,
Yes.
a 4.
Okay.
GlitchCon is a con I always look forward to.
Yeah.
Um,
Same here.
yeah, it was my very first con that I ever went to
was-
back in 2013, I want to say.
This is my first
probably
con
wrong.
as Frank Wack.
Yeah.
Which means a lot to me. So.
Yeah. And I remember I actually saw like the Facebook history thing for a past GlitchCon, and I remember like reading, and I was reading that, and it was like, and I said I really enjoyed the con today. My only issue is there were so many panels I wanted to go to, and a lot of them overlapped with each other, which is like that's like an ideal problem.
That's a problem to have. That's a problem you want to have.
Yeah. I feel like it wasn't I didn't necessarily have that problem this year. There were a few panels I wanted to go to that I just couldn't because we were trying to work the con as well.
Yeah. I'm
like-
sorry.
It's fine. Primarily wanted to go to more Take One Improv panels. Which they had plenty of panels. That's not an issue with the with them not scheduling enough panels. They had plenty of them. It's just I was too busy to go to them.
Right.
Overall, like the panels I went to were mostly good. There's like one awkward one, but you're always gonna have an awkward panel or two at a con.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just gonna happen. Like, usually when it's like required that like someone like when audience participation is required and it's a niche panel,
okay.
then that's almost always gonna end up with it being very awkward because
I see what you're saying.
oh, here's a niche thing. You only have like one or two people, and of course, half the people are like shy and don't want to talk.
Yeah.
But there were some really good panels. I went to a Nerf panel.
Yeah.
and-
You told me about this.
Yeah, and I was like, Nerf, that's going to be a weird panel. Okay, I'll just go to this. And I didn't expect it to be as interesting as it was. There were a lot of people in there, and this guy, he walks in with a suitcase. Well, he walks in, and he just tosses all these Nerf guns onto this table. And he has a suitcase, and he opens it up, and there's even more Nerf guns in the suitcase.
That's great.
It was wonderful.
heard.
And he's talking about nerfing.
Uh-huh.
Basically, people who go around and play Nerf, shooting each other with Nerf
Right.
guns. He's talking about like all the different mods you can do to Nerf guns and different Nerf communities like Humans vs Zombies, which is something I've actually played,
Yeah.
just not with Nerf guns because my college campus is like, oh, that looks like a gun.
Yeah.
Let's not have that.
They do that at Consplosion. At least they have the last 2 years.
Yeah. Well, Humans vs Zombies is a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Obviously, you know, running around with guns though, you know, wouldn't be good. Even if they're painted, you know, fluorescent orange and green, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Thanks, campus police. Like they even tried. Like they were like, "Hey, like, can we please?" And they're like, "No, no."
That sucks.
Yeah, but the guy actually has a YouTube channel. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm blanking. But it was a really, really cool panel,
Right.
and that was one that really stuck out to me.
Speaking of, if you're listening to this by chance, you can comment the name of it and we'll put it in the video.
I'm going through my subscriptions right now,
Oh,
but I
okay.
got so many.
Um,
I'll find it.
if you want to be in the podcast, you know, just send us a message.
Well, I'd love to have him on the podcast
love
to talk
to-
about stuff because
Love to hear some more.
it's Nerdy Swift Nerd. It's Nerdy Swiffer Nerd.
Okay.
Nerdy Nerdy. SWIFFER Swiffer Nerf NERF. So,
Okay.
and I haven't gotten a chance to check out any of his videos yet. But I did subscribe to it so I could keep track of it.
That's cool. I heard
but-
the guy looks like Ego Raptor.
He kind of does. He he looks like Eoraptor if Eoraptor, you know, I don't know, like wore like thicker glasses maybe.
Yeah.
Well, does he wear glasses even?
No, I don't think he does.
No. Yeah, if Eoraptor wore glasses and you know wore a headband and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a cool dude. And there's like you know unboxing videos and like interviews about Nerf and stuff like that on his channel. And one really cool thing that he was talking about was actually going thrift shopping for Nerf stuff, which is something that I actually know about doing because I had a roommate who he was actually he graduated this past year, but he's an engineer
Yeah.
and he would always go and find Nerf guns.
Right.
Like we would always go to the store called Savers, which is kind of like Goodwill,
Right.
and we would find Nerf guns, and he'd always you know get them and mess around with them, and you know, and we had fun. We played with Nerf in our dorm room.
Nice.
Yeah. What was a panel that really stuck out to you that you were able to go to?
I think I only went to one panel, actually.
Because you were just so busy.
Yeah, I'm always busy, man. I
Yeah.
hardly ever find the time to go to panels to begin with.
I figured you probably found like one or two that you were able to go to.
There was a lot that I was interested in, but the recast panel was the only one I think I actually got to go see. We wanted to go see Tatum After Dark, but by the time it was so late,
Yeah, I remember I wanted to go see that, and you
we were
just
really
like
tired.
dead tired.
I had to work at 5 in the morning the next morning because Walmart decided I had to work that weekend, and then I got sick. Thanks, Walmart.
Yeah. I was disappointed. I was like, damn it, Walmart.
Yeah,
I
I know.
wanted to see Tatum After Dark. But wait, you didn't want to go see the burlesque again?
No. So he's laughing because I told him my experience with the burlesque show last year. And it's
I
not
gave him
that-
way too much shit over this.
Not that, like, the burlesque show was like, you know, oh my god, titties, run away or something. It wasn't like that. I was invited by one of the people there, and I found out that her boyfriend was a close friend of mine from the Smash community in Oklahoma. And I found it very weird that I was watching her undress,
Yeah.
and people were wooing and cheering for it. And
Yeah.
it just felt really, really strange.
I've never gone to any of the burlesque shows.
Very interesting.
Well, it's just...
It's just strippers that you don't get to actually see anything, so...
Yeah. Well, it's like...
And they're usually themed.
Yeah, well, like, the thing is, like, I don't know, I feel like I would go in there and I would feel really awkward.
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't know, just... It feels...
Damn us for having morals.
I don't know, it's like, I understand, you know, they're doing it willingly and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's not, you know...
There's nothing wrong with liking it, guys.
Yeah, there's
that's
nothing
not
wrong
what
with
we're
liking
saying.
it. It's just I think if I went in there, I would go and be sitting by myself and feeling really awkward.
That's how I was.
Yeah.
With the added on, you know, what I just said.
Yeah. But luckily they give you other things to do
Yeah.
during that. Like there's other good panels going on at the same
Yeah.
time. And actually I really like 18 plus panels. For the most part, they can be a lot of fun. I actually went to one last year, with Take One Improv. And I remember it was like, basically like, the first thing they did was give us a job name.
Uh-huh.
And because it was an 18 plus panel, nothing was off limits. And I remember a bunch of us
Everybody
a
immediately
bunch of us
goes to the
raised our
worst common
hands.
denominator.
A bunch of us raised our hands, and Corey Phillips had to choose one, and he chose me first.
Uh-huh.
And I said Fluffer. shaking his head right now.
And we're done with this topic. Let's move on.
No, but that's just to illustrate that, like, and
Yeah.
they did some funny stuff with it. Like there's this one girl who has big hair, so like someone ran up behind her and just like fluffed up her hair.
Right.
But it's just demonstrating that like 18 plus panels can be a lot of fun.
Right. No, they are.
Yeah. Karaoke was fun.
Karaoke was fun. I'm glad I got to do that
Yeah.
this year.
Starbomb got played a few times. There was
Insert clip. We have a clip. So
there was Carry On My Wayward Son that had like 5 people singing it at the same time.
I still remember the 4 that sang Bohemian Rhapsody just as worse as they humanly could.
It was great. I loved it. Oh my god.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
What was the highlight of the convention for you, Seawood?
The highlight of the
What
convention?
is the highlight of the con?
Ooh, you see, I always get worried when you say that. I don't know.
What
Like,
was your favorite part?
there was a lot of really good moments. I really liked getting to meet J. Michael Tatum and Don Teams.
Don Teams.
Don
is
Teams,
really cool.
who plays zombies in The Walking
He's
Dead.
one of the walkers. Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, like.
That's exactly how it was. I was like, oh, whatever. He plays a zombie on a zombie show. Okay, cool, whatever. Let's move on.
Like-
I don't watch Walking Dead for the record, so that's why it doesn't matter to me at first.
And I'm not a huge fan of Walking Dead. Like, I've watched some of it, but I'm really behind on it.
Right.
Like, legit, like, it's on season, like, what, like 6 or 7?
7.
Yeah, and I'm on
My girlfriend
season
watches
2.
the show, so.
Yeah, I'm on, like, season 2.
So you haven't even gotten to see Dawn, because he's
Well,
in like
I've
seasons
probably
4
seen
and
him
up.
because my dad watches it.
Okay.
And so I've seen, like, bits and pieces. But dang, like, that dude is so cool.
Yeah.
Don Teams is so cool.
He was the
because
coolest person, man.
He actually was. Like, just listening to him talk about the job and, like,
Yeah.
and just as a person, he was really cool. I remember when he went up to do karaoke, he was really good.
Yeah,
at
oh my
karaoke.
god, yeah.
Like,
What was it? Who was it?
it's just
I know his
really-
name.
I don't remember
I had
what
it.
he's saying, but
It's by
it was like some sort of like slow, like kind of jazz song. Like
super popular dude from like back in like the 50s or 60s.
it sort of had like a Frank Sinatra feel to it,
I cannot remember.
like
the
a
name of the
slower
dude, though.
Frank Sinatra song. But the dude was just really cool to talk to him.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun getting to talk to him, you know, and meet him.
We're friends on Facebook now.
Yeah, you go and like, you know, getting everybody's phone numbers and
Yeah,
add them on
I asked
Facebook.
Katie Townsend was there. She's the voice of Kate in Fallout 4, and right before she left for her airplane, I was like, "Is there any way we can connect on social media? I'd love to get you on my podcast because we didn't get to do an interview."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, actually, be faster. Can I just give you my number?" Who says no to that question?
Yeah.
Of course I can. Yes, please. Here's my phone. Do what you want with it.
And I remember Noah gave you a bit of a look after that happened.
Did she?
I remember that
I don't
happening.
know.
I
Hot
could be
Brit
wrong.
gives you your phone number. I mean, what? I don't look at you like that.
Oh my
we love
god.
you, Katie. Can't wait to have you on the show.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, getting to meet all those people was a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
I remember in the game room, which was a bit smaller than it was smaller than it was last year, which is probably due to
Tradewind closing.
Tradewind Games, which was a major sponsor, closing down.
I believe they did it this year. The guys that ran Tradewind.
Yeah, the guys who ran it did it this year, but it was definitely smaller scale. And I remember somebody loaded up a mod for Smash Bros. Brawl, and it wasn't Project M.
You got to play Brawl Minus. For
Yeah,
the
it was
first time.
Minus, and oh my god, that game is
The
insane.
game where everybody's broken and the game is kind of balanced. Not really, but kind of.
He told me that Brawl Minus is balanced in the sense of Mortal Kombat, where everyone's broken. So
Everyone's
makes it
broken,
balanced.
so it's balanced, right? No, that's not how it works.
but,
But moving on.
I remember playing as Sonic, and like I would run and then just like be falling off the stage almost constantly because he's so fast.
Stupid fast in that game.
Playing as Roy in that game is so much fun, though. Like you'll go to swing your sword and it like throws out a bit of flame. His recovery attack is like has like huge like hitbox and like is really good compared to what it normally is. And
Right.
Roy is broken as well. It's just
Everyone's broken
Yeah.
in that game. See what? Everyone.
and like the Luigi like icon looks like the meme one, like
Yeah, the mad face.
no like the creepy Luigi one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just it's so much fun. And they had Project M loaded up at one point. I got to play a little bit of
I
that.
got the Waddle Dash.
Yeah, he comes in. He's like, "Hey, can I show you something?" I'm
The
like,
best thing in the game.
"Sure." And then he won't give me the controller back. He's got like a vice grip on it.
Real talk, that was the reason I started playing Project M, was because I saw Flamini do waddle dashing, and I thought it was the best thing ever. It is the best thing ever, but
I remember I was playing as DDD in Project Minus, and he does that thing where like you can basically like command like the Waddle Dees. But I didn't know how it worked, so I just kept pressing the button over and over again because it looked really funny.
That's funny.
and like in that game, when you do a taunt, you can immediately cancel it out and do another one like almost instantly. So I made it to where like looks like Peach has this one where like she dances around, and I made it look like she was twerking.
Nice.
But it was a lot of fun. Definitely a highlight. Take One Improv, definitely a highlight. Just meeting all the cool voice actors.
Getting to
Don
meet
Teams.
and interview J. Michael Tatum was fun. Don Teams' interview was actually really fun. You know, they asked me, basically, I don't want to say I was forced to do an interview with them, but somewhere lost in translation, I ended up doing an interview with Don. Not knowing anything about The Walking Dead, having to figure out questions on the fly, that was fun.
Yeah.
But it ended up being a really fun, really good interview. I can't wait to show you guys.
Yeah. Because Dawn was probably like the one, was probably one of the guests who I felt like was really energetic about being there.
It went above and beyond.
Yeah, like
anything that I thought.
like I'm not saying like none of the guests want like I'm not saying any of the guests felt seemed like they didn't want to be there at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is like he seemed overly energetic about being there and like really wanted to meet fans and was really excited. And when a guest has that much energy, it really comes through and almost like transfers to me as a con goer and gives me some energy and makes me even more excited about what's going on.
For sure.
Were there any negatives?
Well, I was just about to ask you the question on my forum. Real quick, people that responded to my thing, thank all four of you. The highlights for them, cosplay contest, being in the cosplay contest, Take One's 18 plus comedy panel, all of Take One was great.
Yeah,
and,
I really wanted to go to that 18 plus.
They had a Black Butler tea party that we didn't even get to like really walk in. I walked in for 5 seconds and took pictures and walked out.
I remember they asked us to go and we were just like really busy with stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the highlight of somebody's convention, so I mean, they're doing something right.
Yeah.
If we could change anything about the con, one little thing, what would it be?
Well, this is real quick. I want to say a negative thing that can't really be changed.
Right.
And just the nature of how this con is, because it's in Springdale, and with it being in Springdale, it has to be in that convention center.
We're talking about spacing issues, huh?
Well, it's not necessarily spacing issues; it's lighting issues.
Oh, okay. As a photographer,
yeah, as someone who wants to take pictures of cosplayers.
Yeah.
Damn, that convention center sucks. No, it is so dark. It is so dark. It is so dark in there.
Yeah.
And maybe there's the lights in there that they just aren't turning on.
Skylighting is mainly the issue.
Well, that was a slight issue in like the in Artist Alley.
On Saturday it rained really hard and stuff.
Yeah, but that's not even my biggest problem. My biggest problem is the main stage room can be so dark.
Yeah.
So like my cosplay contest photos, which by the way I had horrible angles for, because like you had like a godlike angle where basically every time
sitting right next to where all the cosplayers.
Yeah, so
were
they just sent them over to you.
So they sent them to me before they left the stage,
Yeah.
and I got really good photos of everybody.
Yeah.
So
and like so you were able to get that. There's like a prime spot right in front, like between the cosplay judges and the stage. There's like a prime spot where you can get on the ground and do it. That was full of other photographers.
Crazy packed.
I eventually found a half decent spot to set up, but it took me a while to find a good angle to like take pictures from. And even then, like last year they had this like weird lighting setup where it was like pretty much completely dark and they had like lights on the stage light them up.
Yeah.
And that's
what Tokyo and Tulsa does. It drives me insane.
Yeah. Well, that one I liked that more than what they had this year, because this year they had just the normal lights.
Oh, really?
But the problem with the normal lights in that room and with a lot of the rooms in the building is it kind of gives off this like orange hue.
Yeah.
And I've got a white balance option on my camera to get rid of that. And even then, it still always gets that in there. The walls are yellow, and the light is like yellow. It's like this nasty yellow-orange color, and it makes a lot of pictures look bad unless you have a flash on your camera. And while I have a flash on my camera, I had a microphone on my camera for most of the weekend.
Yeah.
So I couldn't use it.
My camera has a flash with it, but I tend not to use it because I find I'm not a professional photographer, and I try to emphasize that. And I find it just a little, I don't want to say disrespectful, because the people that do use it, I mean, you guys get really good photos for that reason.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be the reason I distract somebody from the con, and so that's why I don't use my flash.
Well, and the thing with flash that I've been told is, and no disrespect to anyone who uses flash, because I will elaborate on this, but I've been told if you're a good photographer, you don't need flash. But at this convention, it almost felt like you did, just because of how the lighting setup was. You needed a different kind of light on your subject to really make them look good.
Remember my friend Tori, the Black Widow Photography, she just got a new flash, and so she's trying to learn to use it. I think it was either opening ceremonies, one of the big events. We're sitting there, and she's trying to get a good picture of me, and she keeps like moving the flash and adjusting. She's like, "I'm so new at this. I'm sorry."
I think that was the cosplay contest, where like right before that happened.
It's so funny. I was like, "No, I'm not worried. They're not starting. I have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Just do what you gotta." I'm glad to be the guy that you want to take pictures of before the cosplay contest, so you get good photos there and not have to like fuck with it there.
Yeah. That reminds me, so it was Saturday night. I was leaving so I could go get something to eat because I hadn't eaten. I didn't eat for I hadn't eaten in like a while.
Long time.
So I was going off, and they were having fucking pizza.
We actually didn't have pizza. We dropped that plan. We ate over at the restaurant right down the road.
Oh, Marketplace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
it's either Marketplace or Denny's, pretty much.
Marketplace. Yeah.
There's a Waffle House.
My great friend Grayson was very kind to us. I took like 100 photos of a photo shoot, 3 different photo shoots for his boyfriend.
Yeah. I have a few photos from one of those.
And as payment, he took us out to eat.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad that we ended up spending like $50 there.
But they went out to eat, so I went to go get my own food. And I'm walking out of the convention center, and the door I walked out of, it slopes down into the sidewalk. But when it slopes into the sidewalk, it slopes really quickly. And it was dark out, so I didn't see that. And I tripped and fell.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because I trip and fall right next to Laura Pearson, who runs Anime Con Arkansas, which is probably like my second favorite con, and Bobby Scarborough,
who used to run
GlitchCon. It was so
I just imagine their looks.
And there were some other people, and most people, when they fall, try to catch themselves.
Not you.
Not me, because I have an expensive fucking camera. So I try to catch my camera, and they see this all happen like a few feet away.
To be completely, I would have done it.
And I'm freaking out because I think, oh, my camera's broken, which wasn't helped because my lens cap on my shorter lens that I use more often.
Yeah.
Comes off really easily, and here I am hitting the ground, and it pops up and goes flying off.
Oh no.
So I'm thinking, oh shit, my camera's broken. They run over, like one of them grabbed like my pass, which fell on the ground.
Right.
One of them like grabbed my lens cap and stuff, and they're checking to see if I'm okay, and I'm freaking out, not because I fell and not because I may have fell and hurt myself, but because I may have fell and hurt my camera.
I understand.
So I get up off the ground, and I'm going to check to see if my camera's okay. I go take a picture, it's fine. I take a video clip, it's fine. So I'm all good. And I go and I stand, and I just stand on the sidewalk for a few minutes just to kind of recalibrate, because I just fell and I got really worried and nervous, and that just makes me a shaking mess whenever I get worked up like that. So, but I got to talk to Bobby Scarborough, so there's that. Like legit, I'm standing there and he's like talking to someone else, and like Laura Pearson had like walked off by then. Most of the people had walked off, and I saw him, and I was like, and And once he was done talking to this person, I said, "Excuse me, but you look very familiar. Do I know you from somewhere?" He said, "Yeah, my name is Bobby Scarborough." I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're friends on Facebook."
that con moment where you meet somebody that you hadn't seen in forever, then you like you're friends on Facebook, but you don't. Yeah.
Well, it's like I was friends with him on Facebook, but like I hadn't really had any like extended like interaction with him. I like talked to him like a few times at GlitchCon, but I couldn't remember him.
Fun fact: I've interviewed him.
Oh, yeah, when he was doing his DJing gig.
I interviewed him last year, actually, Tokyo and Tulsa for GlitchCon.
Yeah, and that wasn't GlitchCon like the last...
that was his last year.
Yeah, that was last year doing cons and running
cons.
He
still
DJing.
Plans on going. He still plans on being there, which is cool.
Yeah, like I said, he was at this con.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sucked. But whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing was seriously messed up, so it's all good.
All's well that ends well, right?
Yeah. But GlitchCon was ultimately a fun experience.
So what would you change?
What would
if you could?
If I could change anything, what would I change? Other than lighting. Good God.
I have a few things.
Yeah, you talk while I try to think of something.
My biggest issue right now was they added some tables in the Artist Alley, and while I'm all for that, they constricted that space really, really hard.
Yeah.
I don't like, and when I say that I have the problem with this, I don't have an answer for it, so I don't know what to really say, but I feel like there was a spacing issue for that one specific area in Artist Alley. Like, whenever it got packed, it was really hard to move around.
Yeah. I can understand that. GlitchCon has always had a spacing issue, usually with the vendor room, which, once again, had a bit of a spacing issue, just because, maybe,
it's better than it was last year.
Yeah, it was better, which I can applaud.
They switched the gaming rooms and the vendor room, and I think that helped a lot.
My only issue with spacing is with how things were laid out in the con.
Yeah.
It's a problem I have with A2F as well, where
it's the location.
Where they have they had tabletop in a separate building.
Yeah,
and some people didn't even know tabletop was there.
Yeah.
Because of that. Even though I'm sure it was good. I don't really care for tabletop, so I didn't really go over there. But I'm sure it was good.
I went over there once.
How was it?
I went over there right at the beginning of the con though. So.
Oh. Well, yeah, didn't we pop in for a moment?
Right after the recast panel for we interviewed Corey.
Yeah, in that building.
I popped in there right after that, I think.
Yeah, but having that just felt like it was separated way too much. Almost.
Yeah, it's like and when I worked in conventions, it was always called the dungeon effect. You lock something away in the dungeon, and you make people go work to go get to it.
It's not like it's a far away walk or anything, but
it's still I don't want to say it's too far away, but it's still far enough to make some people like myself go, eh.
Well, and I feel like if they had brought more attention to it, maybe it would have been better. Like, they have a map of the convention center, and it shows whatever room is, but it doesn't even have that on there, because it's in that separate building.
Right.
So maybe adding that onto the map that's in that central lobby location. Also, an issue I have, and just let me say this one thing before you say whatever you're gonna say. The Artemis Bridge, which has been at GlitchCon every year, and there's a lot of people who enjoy it. Right. Felt like it was almost if you wanted to go to it, you had to really look for it because especially at the beginning of the con,
other dungeon,
especially on the Friday. That they had it, and I think they realized it by Saturday, oh shit, we should probably put this up. It was right next to the gaming room, but you had to go around this corner and walk all the way down this hallway to get into it. Eventually they opened up the door that connected the gaming room to that, and just threw the sign into the gaming room because people were going to go into the gaming room. But it just felt like it was kind of separated on that Friday, but they fixed it, which I'm fine with. And
I don't know if because gaming, it seems to me that the video game room is smaller and smaller, and even fewer people really go to it anymore. So I don't. My question almost becomes: is it worth it to even have video games there? Sure. I mean, for the sake of the people that enjoy playing the video games at cons, I think, and I'm going to suggest this, and I'm hoping James Wicks or Chris Bryce or somebody watches this. I'm going to suggest this. Maybe get it like a group like OK Gamers from Oklahoma who run Tokyo Tulsa's game room. 10,000 square feet of gaming at Tokyo and Tulsa. And it's huge, and it's so diverse, and it's got all this really amazing stuff. You take, like, even an eighth of that. I mean, they know what they're doing. They run tournaments all the time. They know the rules. They're up to date. They have all the equipment, and if they don't, they're connected with GameStop.
Yeah.
I just feel like that would fix your game room. A bit.
Yeah. I'm going to say this right now. I love the Trade-Win Games people. From the bottom of my heart, they're wonderful people. I loved their store when it was open. But that game room, like I remember walking in Sunday morning and nothing was turned on.
Yeah, we got there at like noon on Sunday.
Well, we got there actually before noon.
Oh, right,
but
because the charity auction, but yeah.
Yeah. But I remember nothing was turned on. They wanted, one guy wanted, who was actually a volunteer in there, wanted to turn on the Wii U and get Smash Bros. Going, because Smash Bros. Is a big thing. Like, consistently throughout that weekend, there was always a group of people in there playing Smash.
That's consistent through conventions.
Yeah, but they couldn't even find the Wii U anywhere.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they were searching for it, and they asked, like, the one main guy who's over at where the Wii U is, and he's like, well, I didn't bring it, and I'm not sure where it is. Well, great. And they eventually found it, but still, it took them forever. By the time that they found it, I was already gone.
Right.
So I wouldn't have played it. And, you know, it's like, they're wonderful people. I like that they sell games there.
Yeah, I mean...
I feel like a bonehead because I forgot to buy Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, which I had been eyeing the whole convention, and then I didn't even buy it.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm a freaking idiot, but I mean, and they had the TurboGrafx 16 there. That's cool. They had an NES top loader. That's cool. These are two systems I've never seen in my life, so that's cool.
I'm going to go back to OK Gamers. Do you want the retro stuff? Lucas DeWoody was a great friend of mine. He's been like an OK Gamer advocate since they started 7 years ago now. They have a plethora of, like, they have like 6 tables at Tokyo Tulsa devoted to just nothing but retro.
And I mean, and like I said, I love these people from the bottom of my heart. You know, I think they're wonderful people.
Yeah, they're great guys.
By the way, when I say love, I mean in a platonic way. You're like, as in,
I love you guys, no homo.
Yeah, basically. But like, it felt like there was very little offered.
Yeah.
Compared to previous years, because I remember my first year when I went to GlitchCon. Holy shit! This was the year before I met you, and it took up I think it actually was main events that year. Like, in the hall that was main events of this year was the game room. Okay. My first year. And holy crap, they had so many different consoles, so many different games. It was so much fun, and every game under the sun, basically. I remember they had a freaking dive kick tournament.
Dive kick?
Yeah, because dive kick had just come out. I actually missed closing ceremonies for that. And I just remember, like, they had all this stuff there. It was so much fun. It feels like every year it's been downgraded some, and, you know, gets smaller and smaller. Yeah. And it's like, you guys are called GlitchCon. Glitch as in, like, a glitch in a video game, and your video game section is so small.
Yeah.
So I would like to see them try to revitalize that and make it bigger next year. But, you know, that's probably, like, the one big thing I can think of.
Yeah.
You know, just try to revitalize that a bit, because it felt so empty.
Just to go through the people, moving tabletop back to the hotel, because I mean, like we said, the video games are just going to be that small, and I don't want to be like super negative on it, but the tabletop kind of thrives. I mean, I wasn't there for much of it this year, but last year I remember it being very big.
People are always going to want to play tabletop.
Moving
games.
the tabletop back to the hotel is probably a better idea than having the video game room being there. You could dungeon away the video game room. Granted, it's a bigger room. You don't have as much stuff, but it's not like locked away in that dungeon.
If the video game section, if the video game room is going to be so sparse, why even have it taking up space? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. And I'm trying not to be that down about it.
Yeah. I mean, I can see where appreciation for a bigger room for tabletop would, you know, be liked. And it's probably because I'm not too into it that I didn't see a whole lot of it, but still.
I don't know if I would say bigger room, because if they moved it back to the hotel, it would definitely be a smaller room.
No. What I'm saying is that it had a bigger room this year.
Okay, yeah.
It had a big room, which I remember seeing tabletop in 2014. I want to say.
Yeah.
And like the room that they used for main events this year, and that was like huge, and it was filled and packed.
Yeah.
Maybe move main events to that other building. Just because it's still a big building.
It has better lighting in there, that's for sure.
Yeah, because A2F uses it for their main
Yeah.
events.
I wouldn't be against that.
Yeah, I think that would work out pretty well.
I mean,
and it's main events, so people are still going to go to it no matter what.
Yeah.
So dungeoning that away isn't
it's
really
hard to-
dungeoning
it's hard
it
to
away.
dungeoning the main attractions.
Yeah. So throwing that in the other building, people are still going to go to it, and that's going to work, I think.
The other responses were better panels and better rave.
I'm not too big into raves, so I never go to them.
Right.
We actually left before the rave, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Way before the rave.
So
I
we
heard it
don't-
was like dead, which has been like a GlitchCon theme for a while.
I wouldn't know, but I can definitely understand where a better rave would be something people want.
I remember. I
Better-
think it was their first year in 2012. When they had the rave, and maybe the first 5 minutes there were like 10, 20 people in it, and like after that there was like 1 or 2 people maybe.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Better panels, I can kind of understand. I don't have the schedule up in front of me to remember everything, but
I mean, and that's the thing that's going to change year to year.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to.
It's dependent on who's going and who has good panel ideas.
And it's not even just like, because the panels that could be good to me maybe not be good to you. It's a matter of opinion.
Yeah. Like there were a lot of cosplay panels that I don't cosplay, so I'm not as interested. But then you may be a huge cosplayer, so you may love those panels.
Yeah.
But then I can kind of understand, like, for example, like there were a lot of cosplay panels on Sunday.
Yeah.
I looked at the schedule, and the only thing I saw on the schedule that really interested me was just the things, the main events.
Yeah.
On Sunday. And, but then you have, all these cosplay stuff that, cosplayers are going to care about.
I think the lack of panel rooms, because they only had 2 this year. I don't know if that's been.
They had the writer. They gave the third panel room
To the
away
writers.
to the writers.
Which is totally yeah, it is. It's fine. We're running into a space problem again.
Yeah.
I love
think
that they do the writers.
Huh?
I love that they do the writers workshop. Tommy, I can't remember his last name. The guy that runs all that and his publication and stuff. I love him being there. He's
the guy who runs like the pulp fiction publications and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the dude with the big like hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Dude, I love that guy.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
But it's like I don't have the answers. I'm just throwing out my opinions here.
I'm wondering how many people take part in that, because
yeah.
I don't have an issue with it at all. I think it's a great thing. I remember I'm walking through the hallway and I'm seeing someone sitting there with an iPad and a keyboard typing up, clearly for the writer's workshop.
Right.
Working on things, doing story in a bag. I think that's great.
Yeah.
But when we got to closing ceremonies, they said that they didn't have enough participants in story in a bag to really find a winner.
Yeah.
And it's like, that makes me wonder how many people are actually taking part in this. Because I love that they do it. It's just I'm wondering, is it really getting the response that they want? And maybe that's just a marketing thing, because GlitchCon, I only ever see the main, like, the headliners. I only ever see with this one J. Michael Tatum, Katie Townsend, and Don Teams. Those are all I saw. You never hear about the writers.
Yeah.
In marketing wise. So I feel like if they threw more of a focus to that, like not making that like the chief focus, but at least trying to market more of that, then you might attract more of that audience, and that would make the Writers Workshop more viable.
It'll definitely be something that I plan on doing a 1 minute spotlight over next year.
Because the Writers Workshop, it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
It just needs more attention prior to the con, so that people who would care about it show up.
Final thing. Is there anybody specifically you'd like to see at the con next year?
I want to see Vic Mignogna. No.
It could be cool.
No, like we saw him in like 2014 though. Yeah. So I'm fine with skipping Vic. There's always like the big names like Steve Bloom and Todd Abercorn. That everybody wants to basically see. Markiplier for GlitchCon 2017.
That's just going to be an ongoing joke, isn't it? Every con, Markiplier.
But honestly, I'm going to say the same person I say for every one of these, and it's Chris Niosi. Dear God, I want to see him at a con at some point. He voices characters in anime and video games. He's voiced a character named Corey in Pokemon. Now it's spelled with like Khoury. It's weird.
It's anime spelling.
It's the anime spelling. But like he does a lot of stuff on YouTube. He's a YouTuber. He just actually hit 100K.
Nice.
He did the series called Tome, Terrain of Magical Expertise. He's done a lot of shorts. He did Brawl Taunts back in the day.
Oh, okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I feel like it'd be really cool to see him. I know there's YouTubers in the Fayetteville area, which is right next to Springdale.
Speaking of, I would love to see Boogie.
Yeah, Boogie or Gaijin Goomba would be great. I know Gaijin sometimes shows up at A2F and Con Explosion. But seeing Boogie, I know Boogie's a really busy person as well.
All YouTubers are.
Yeah, Gaijin and Boogie, I know
Go
they're
ahead. Ask me how far behind I am on my videos.
I know how far behind you are. You're like years.
I've got like 6 videos, and 3 of them are from like last year. One of them is a year old now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, that's because
I just found it.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But I would love to see like more YouTubers. Definitely like tap into that local talent with Boogie or Gaijin Goomba if you can.
For sure.
And if you don't, tap into that, then there's an airport nearby. So like you said,
Katie came from LA.
Yeah.
I mean.
So like maybe like YouTubers fly him out like Nate Wants to Battle.
Nate
How
Wants to
cool
Battle
would
would
it
be
be to have Nate Wants to Battle? He can do panels on voice acting,
And
panels on YouTube,
music.
He can do a freaking concert if you want.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, like there's options here, and
I want to see Big Bad Bosses. All 4 of them come to one con.
that would be so great.
And I want to see them perform.
Yeah, you could get the completionist or
Alex Flaciani.
or Did You Know Gaming, or just you can get any of the normal boots guys. You can get any of the hidden block guys. I'd be fine with that.
Pro Jared would come in a heartbeat. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah, Pro Jared, that'd be awesome.
I would love to talk to him again.
Yeah. I feel like YouTube stars would be. I feel like that's a guest thing that hasn't really been tapped by GlitchCon.
Yeah,
which
for sure.
is understandable. They focus on voice actors and stuff like that. I just think it would be really cool if they could tap into that.
Yeah.
Because that's not something we really see a whole lot of in Arkansas Con.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen YouTubers at ACA. I saw Gaijin just walking around at A2F.
Yeah. He was there for the Smash tournament, but
which he hosted the Smash tournament.
Yeah.
And that's all he did.
Yeah.
I know Consplosion, like, what was it, like 2 years ago, had Takahata and Gaijin.
Takahata and Gaijin Goomba were both there. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's the only con that I've really seen tap that YouTube market of of guests, and so it'd be really cool to see that.
So on the topic of voice actors, I'd love to see Matthew Mercer.
Oh, Matthew Mercer would be awesome. He's Sinbad and Moggy, and I love it. And I'm so disappointed that they don't have an English dub of that of Moggy, The Adventures of Sinbad yet, because
it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, but only in Japanese.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, well,
which I hate. I don't hate watching anime in Japanese. I just prefer to watch it in English. I'm like Kyle Hebert. It's like what I heard Kyle Hebert say in a panel once. I like to sit down while I'm watching my anime and like eat or do stuff on my phone. And I don't want to have to be and I'm paraphrasing super here, but I don't want to have to keep reading constantly to be able to keep up with it.
That's sort of how I feel about it. I'm going to meet the American voice actor, so I want to read it in English. I'm sure you've heard me say that on the podcast before. our wonderful 4 people that filled out my form. People from the Power Rangers franchise. Cool.
That well, and there's I think it's Johnny Young Bosch who was in the original Power
you could
Rangers
have-
is a voice actor now. So
This is the voice of Vash the Stampede, Ichigo Kurosaki.
Yeah.
He's Lelouch.
Lelouch.
Um,
Yeah. So he's a big name in anime. So that'd be great.
Somebody said Take One. Would love to
Definitely.
see Take One improv back. They're awesome people. I'm sure they're cheap. No. That was a joke, Corey. I'm sorry.
But seriously, with Take One, like ever since I saw them last year, like they are amazing.
Yeah.
They are so funny.
Me and Corey have been friends for a while, so
They are just absolutely hilarious. And Corey, he's getting into more anime like voiceover
Yeah.
and voice acting, and that's really cool. I'm looking at J. Michael Tatum's IMDb right now. He was Kung Jin in Mortal Kombat X.
was he?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he played the gay character, so which is never really
That's being cut.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Well, no. Like with that character, like it had to be pointed out to me that he is gay, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's a big deal.
It doesn't matter. There was one point in time where they were like, Zangief from Street Fighter is a gay. I'm like, first off, who cares? Second off, where does they say that?
Holy shit, he plays Titus in Magi, the Kingdom of Magic. That's awesome.
But anyway,
He plays Brock in Pokemon Origins. Okay, we gotta get this guy.
we're off topic.
I'm just backing up the whole. Oh, he plays Yukio in Blue Exorcist. Like I said, we need to get him in for GlitchCon 2017, or at least GlitchCon at some
You're
point.
talking about Tatum still, right? Or-
No, I'm talking about Johnny Young Bosch.
Oh,
Like, we need
okay.
to get him in for this.
All right. Well, yeah, GlitchCon was a great time.
Yeah, we really enjoyed
We
it.
really enjoyed the con. Can't wait to come back. Give me all the news, James Wicks. I want to announce it on the interwebs.
Yeah. And if you want anyone to make, like a commercial or anything for you, I can totally do that for you, Yeah, like totally.
Let's move on. We went way fucking over. That's gonna be fun to edit.
Moving on, we got a new trailer for Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Yeah, and an update on Pokemon
Yeah,
Go.
and an update
We
from
have
Pokemon Go.
Lots of Pokemon news in a very short time to tell it all. So let's get to it.
This week on your Pokemon Weekly Update,
It's almost becoming that, isn't it?
yeah, so we got new forms for old Pokemon. So Alola, tropical region. So let's get new Pokemon. Let's redo some of our old Pokemon. Let's keep a certain one for last.
That's what I was about to
Yeah.
say.
2 Pokemon got new forms that make them ice types. Vulpix and Ninetales, the Vulpix Ninetales line, and Sandshrew Sandslash.
Which is cool.
yeah.
I really dig it.
Yeah. So with that, Vulpix is an ice type, and Ninetales is an ice fairy type, and Sandshrew is an ice steel type, and so is Sandslash. Which is a big change, and they changed their designs as well to reflect this. I actually like the new Ninetales a lot.
Sandshrew looks like an igloo.
Ninetales.
No, I know. I was just saying the
Yeah.
Sandshrew looks like
Yeah.
an igloo to me.
But Ninetales, I feel like she looks really elegant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the new Sandshrew does look like an igloo.
It's so funny.
The first time I saw it, I was like, "My baby, what did they do to you?" Because I love Sandshrew. He's one of my favorites. If there's a ground type I want to use, it's going to be Sandshrew, Sandslash. So making them ice steel types is interesting. I don't really know if it's my favorite thing in the world, but it's interesting.
Right.
And it's not, and it's a radical departure for the monster.
Right.
But,
I think it's
cool.
a really cool move by Pokemon to explore mixing it up a little bit in a different way. Because instead of it being, let's just increase the number of Pokemon, 720 of the bastards now.
Yeah.
And even more coming. Only God knows how many we're going to end up having by the end of the Alola region.
Yeah.
But I really like this idea. I think it's really cool.
And it revitalizes some old Pokemon that may not get quite as much love.
Vulpix?
Well, I mean, Vulpix and Sandshrew, they're relatively well known.
Vulpix is hella popular though.
Yeah, but how many people do you know who actively use a Sandshrew?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
How many people do you know who actively use an Executor? Oh, you do?
I love Executor.
See,
So-
like, I don't know a whole lot of people who actively use him.
So
though.
this redesign. Let's talk about
Holy
this.
God! He's like a giraffe, like, tree. It's weird.
I understand why you did it, Nintendo, but come on.
So he's got the super long neck and a tail now.
Because the tropical palm trees have that.
Yeah,
They're really
and
tall.
he was more based off like a desert tree.
But what gets me about it, like, the design I can look over, he's a dragon type?
Yeah, grass dragon type. Which, by the way, there's only one other, and that's Mega Sceptile.
What?
Gaijin Goomba tried to justify it by saying, well, dragon fruit grows on tropical trees.
I mean, that's
sure,
cool.
but
That doesn't justify it, I don't think.
it's a weird type. It's a weird type, and it's weird to give it to Executor.
It's so funny to me. I think it's the greatest thing ever.
Here's my biggest thing with the new typings.
Uh-huh.
They better expand the move pool. Because if they don't, these typings are going to flop.
Yeah.
Because what dragon type moves does, Executor have to take advantage of? What ice type moves does fucking Vulpix have to take advantage
you
of?
could give him, like Ice Beam, even. I mean...
Vulpix can learn Ice Beam?
I mean, Ninetales.
Well, but still, it's a fire type, so the move pool isn't very large.
Right.
And then they're going to need to be
But,
able to
now
learn these
they're-
moves
they're-
naturally.
Now they're Ice types.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
They're going to have to expand the move pool, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So we got those new versions.
That wasn't all we got, though, in this trailer.
Yeah. We also got the evolution. We also got an evolution of
of Donald Trump.
of Young Goose. It's called Gumshoes, and I know what they're going for. They're going for this like private-eyed investigator, like detective guy.
Insert a picture of Gumshoe from the Phoenix Wright series.
Well, like the thing is like it's got like its brown fur is kind of like one of those long coats, and you can kind of see it where like it puffs out like that, and it's got yellow on top of its head and on its belly. I feel like that's and I feel like that's a reference to Dick Tracy.
Sure.
Very famous fictional,
I could see that.
PI, detective, whatever, who always wore yellow.
I
And
also see that toupee on his head, and
well, the toupee is almost kind of like a hat, like
I mean that's what a toupee is, but
it's almost like the hat from
yeah,
not specifically like the one from Dick Tracy, but it kind of reminds me of your Paperboy hat, as Noah called it.
Thank you, babe, for starting that. God damn it.
Hashtag newsboy.
I look fucking good in that hat. I'm
He
just
starts
saying.
dancing.
Insert a picture of me with this hat. I look fucking good with this hat.
Yeah, Newsy Frank. Anyways, we're getting
I
off
do
topic.
deliver the news. I mean, that's what a podcast does.
Yeah, we
So
deliver
fuck
the best
yourself.
shit posts from across the universe. Anyways. Anyway.
He looks like Donald Trump, man. I can't get it out.
And hey, he has stakeout as his ability, so he's creepy like Donald Trump as well.
It's great.
But yeah, that wasn't the only Pokemon we got.
Was there another? Oh, the birds.
Yeah, the birds.
Dude, yeah, the cool dancing birds. I'm so for this.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see like Pidgey or Spearow or Tallow or any of those?
Tallow. That's not the name of it.
Whatever.
It's Talo. But
Same difference.
oh,
I'm an American.
Hoenn is my favorite gen.
I'll say whatever.
I'll say it how it's actually supposed to be.
That's okay.
Real quick, give me like 1 second. Okay,
problem.
it's called Oricorios. I don't know how the fuck to say this. The fucking bird of the generation, and it's got 4 different styles based off different forms of dancing.
Which is really cool to me.
There's Bailey style. I'm gonna say Bailey style.
Ballet.
Maybe
That's how you spell ballet.
ballet style. Fine, whatever. It doesn't look like ballet.
Baby.
And that makes it a fire flying type. There's Pom Pom style, which makes it an electric flying type. There's Pau style. It's like hula dancer kind of looking thing, and that makes it a psychic flying style. And then there's Sensu, which is like Japanese, like theater kind of style looking, and that makes it a ghost flying type, which is really cool.
Flying. That sounds OP.
And Well, in the Pokemon, it looks really cool, and there's a different style for each island of the game, which
Yeah.
is really nice.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, and they all have like different animations. They all do different little dances, and it's a cute little Pokemon. It's if the video will go fast enough. Yeah, it has a special attack called Revelation Dance, which matches the different types.
That's cool.
So if you have the Fire type one, it'll be a Fire type attack. If you have the Electric type one, it'll be an Electric type attack.
That's cool.
Which is similar to Judgment, which was an attack only Arceus could learn. And that attack would match whatever type plate you had put on Arceus. So if it was like the fighting type plate, it would be a fighting type move.
That's cool.
Yeah. Its ability is called Dancer, and the trailer describes it as copy everyone's dance moves, and it has a Masquerain using Quiver Dance, which ups a stat of some kind, I believe. It doesn't say, but this bird Pokemon, its ability causes it to use that move when it causes it to use a dance move, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, okay, it'll probably be able to copy like Swords Dance and Dragon Dance as well.
Right.
Which is an interesting ability, if a somewhat limited one, because I don't know many people who use those. Maybe like Swords Dance gets used, but that's about it. There's one called Minior, which is a rock flying type. And its ability is called Shields Down. And it appears that what happens... Huh?
Oh, yeah, I remember this guy.
Yeah. And it appears what happens is whenever it gets hit by an attack, the rocks on it fall off. And it reveals this little squishy dude. It's kind of cute. And there's a few different styles of it. It's referred to as Minior's Core.
I can't see it being very viable in like tournament settings.
Yeah. It looks like a Pokemon that's probably only one stage. And it's got different colored cores, which probably means something. What I imagine it being is like, maybe with the rock on it, it has super high defense.
Yeah.
And then when it loses it, it loses some of that defense. Its defense goes down a lot. But then you'd have to like still make
You'd
it
have to
viable
balance
somehow.
that.
So maybe like when it has the rock on, like its attacks are weak, but it's got a lot of defense. Maybe something like that. But it looks like it's probably a one-stage Pokemon. And then the trailer decides to show Gumshoos, which also has the ability Strong Jaw, which is perfect for the Donald Trump thing. Because that guy won't shut his fucking jaw.
Political statements.
Political statements. Part of your shit posts. Anyways. There was a new Pokemon, Fomantis, which is a grass type. It has the ability to Leaf Guard, whatever that is.
Right.
And it evolves into Lurantis, which has the same ability and is also grass. It's kind of cool. It almost looks like it has like scythes for arms.
It's like a mantis.
Yeah.
I remember that thing.
Yeah, and it's nice looking, and I think it looks really cool. It has a badass attack called Solar Blade, where it's just a giant fuck you laser that just
Giant
fucking
fuck you
just
laser.
drops it on you, and it's awesome.
Right. Oh yeah, it reminds me of like the Captain Commando thing. Yeah, I remember that.
And or like what Lex Luthor does as his ultimate in Injustice.
Yeah. Same
Yeah.
thing.
I imagine that's probably like Solar Beam, where you have to charge it up for one turn. But
Or it makes you rest after it.
yeah.
One or the other. Like Hyper Beam.
Yeah, which I imagine it. It looks like a physical version of Solar Beam to me.
Yeah.
Which is all right. There's Mudbray, which is a pre-evolution to some horse Pokemon that we've apparently seen before.
Yeah.
It's a ground type, and it looks cute. It's an adorable Pokemon. It looks like a donkey.
Yeah. It looks like an ass.
Oh, it looks like you. Ha 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 ha. But going from that, they put a big focus on rideable Pokemon, which was a thing in the 6th gen, but not too huge.
I'm hoping that it becomes like more than it was in the 6th gen.
It was very situational.
Yeah, and it was like you could only ride them here.
Yeah, you could ride ride a Rhyhorn in this one section, and then ride like a Go-Goat or whatever in this other section.
Yeah.
Not very useful. And then Omega Ruby had.
I want it to be the new bicycle, and I want it to be super fast.
Well,
Please.
but in Omega Ruby, you could ride on Sharpedo.
Uh-huh.
On a Sharpedo that new surf, and it was technically faster actually, but you couldn't fish on it. And then you could fly on Mega Latios or Mega Latias, which it looks like Sharpedo's coming back, and instead of Mega Latios and Latias, it's going to be Charizard that you fly on, which is interesting. I saw some people theorizing that this is a replacement for HMs, though.
Okay.
Because, like, for example, like, you can ride on a Tauros, and it breaks rocks.
Oh, cool.
So
Like
maybe
the
that gets rid of
Rhydons
Rock
do.
Smash.
Yeah.
Flying on Charizard gets rid of Fly. Getting, traveling on Sharpedo gets rid of,
Surf.
Surf. And, maybe that makes it to where you don't have to have a Pokemon in your party,
You don't
as
have
an
to have
HM
the
slave.
HM
or,
slaves,
yeah, or you don't have to, have, like,
You have
you
to
know,
waste those spaces.
yeah, waste those moves, Which, I mean, like, Surf was alright, but, and maybe Fly. Whirlpool was also a decent physical water-type move, but that was about it. And then there's some stuff in the trailer about the trials that you have to do, which is like a rite of passage.
Which they showed off at E3.
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe this is the replacement for gyms,
Maybe.
because they show off I think like five trial captains, and then they mentioned powerful totem Pokemon await at the end of each trial. Whatever that means, it looks like it's just a powered up version of a Pokemon.
Yeah, that can summon little minions.
Yeah, which means like it's a 1v2 thing, which is a little annoying.
The
But
Final Fantasy boss fight.
yeah, and then you have to challenge Kahunas.
The Kahuna, the big
Yeah.
Kahuna.
Yeah, which
I'm
there's 5 trial captains, and then a Kahuna for each island, which ends up being 9 total if you. However, what I'm thinking is maybe the first 3 islands have the Kahunas, and then the final one is like the Elite Four. Or what they do is each island has, its trial captains, totaling an 8 across all of them. Like maybe we haven't seen all of them, and then because there's 4 islands, each Kahuna is an equivalent to a member of the Elite Four.
yeah.
So maybe that's it. Because it's not, stating that they're gym leaders in Elite Four or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we're not entirely sure on what it is. And then they end with a new way to attack, with the Z attacks or Z moves.
Yeah. It reminds me of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on these?
I love the animations. I'm not sure how I feel about them in game.
Yeah. Do you think it'll make like some? Do you think it's a balancing? It'll cause any balancing issues?
What do you mean?
Well, like, give like a Pokemon, a Z move, and then it uses its super move, and because that's what it looks like is a super move. It uses its super move and destroys everything, eliminating all challenge.
It could do that.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing about it is it causes it to where you don't get to give that Pokemon a Mega Evolution.
Yeah. Which would be broken.
Yeah, because you have to give it an item. So the only one that would be able to do this is, I guess, maybe Mega Rayquaza, who's already super broken as hell. I think they're cool. They're flashy looking. They're interesting to see. I feel like it might cause some balancing issues.
I don't
just
know
because
if they'll
they're
be
so
used
strong.
in tournament.
Huh?
I don't know if they'll be used in like Pokemon tournaments, but
I wouldn't be surprised if they did, just because it's a big feature they're pushing.
they use Mega Evolution, so I mean
Yeah. I mean, it may be a way to balance against Mega Evolutions, which
Maybe.
I would hope are still coming in
Seems
Pokemon
like
Sun and Moon.
when I played card games pretty avidly, there was a wrestling card game that I was really huge into. And it died because the creator of it just decided to add too much too quickly. Like, they added just a whole lot of different types of stuff, and it just kind of threw off the balance very quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that Pokemon's not doing this. Because they said you have the Kahunas and the trial dudes.
Well, I feel like the trial and the Kahunas thing
Like-
might just be a rebranding of gym leaders
But
for this
if
region.
it doesn't, then on top of that, you have gyms, and you
Yeah.
have the Elite Four, and you have your rival, and you have all of this crap.
Yeah.
And it might just become too much.
Yeah, because one thing about Pokemon is that while it is an RPG, it is a very light RPG.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too in depth. You're not going to be playing 40 hours before you get to the meat of the game, like with Final Fantasy 13 or anything like that. You know,
You get through the whole first disc to finally play the game. Yeah.
yeah. You know, it's not like that. So I can definitely understand where you're coming from. Z moves look like the big new feature. One thing that I saw floating around is, why are they called Z moves?
That's a good question.
And I think they might tie in a bit with Zygarde, because Zygarde, who was the Z equivalent, like the Rayquaza equivalent for Gen 6, he's getting a new form, and it's going to be in this game.
Huh.
He's getting a few new forms, actually. And so some people theorized, well, maybe they were going to make his Pokemon Z, and then they decided to make this one for the 20th anniversary, and was just like, well, let's just throw in all this other shit that we were going to put into Pokemon Z.
Yeah, maybe.
Or, and some people are like, well, maybe maybe Zygarde, because the Z move is such a big feature. The little Z crystals are featured in the Japanese logo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it might be a big, plot thing, like Mega Evolution, which was also featured in Japanese logo. That was a big part of the plot for Pokemon X and Y.
Right.
Maybe Z moves are a big plot feature, and with that, maybe Zygarde has a big part in the plot. But then, will that take away from the legendaries who are supposed to be, legendaries of these games, which is
The Sun and Moon
yeah.
champions.
It's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
But that's it for the Pokemon Sun and Moon news. It's interesting. I kind of like some of the new forms. I think they're cool, and hopefully Z moves aren't too broken. Real quick, let's go through Pokemon Go.
That's on you.
Pokemon Go. So we got a new update, and other than breaking it for a day for me, the update doesn't add too much. I feel like it does take away the step counter for the for when you're tracking Pokemon. So it'll tell you what Pokemon are nearby, but it won't tell you how far away they are, except relative to the other Pokemon that are nearby. And that's an issue because it makes it harder to track Pokemon. And the reason they took it away was because they're trying to fix a glitch where all the Pokemon had the same step amount. It's like 3 steps if they're a kilometer or more away, and every Pokemon had that. So they took that away while they're trying to fix that, and a lot of people cried foul, especially since they also took down fan sites that tracked Pokemon locations like Pokevision, which they're completely in the right to do because those websites accessed Niantic servers to get that information. But they just made it really hard to track Pokemon.
Right.
Other than that, they didn't really add anything other than maybe a few revised models for Pokeballs and stuff like that. But they didn't really change too much with it. And I think the big issue here is just the tracking is all ruined now.
Yeah.
Making the game more difficult. But the game, I feel like it's running fine. They made it to where you could recustomize your character, which I'm happy with because when the game first went up, the servers were so bad.
Yeah.
I had to customize my character twice, and the first time I did it, I gave him brown hair. But the second time I did it, I was like, well, you know what? I actually like the blue hair more, so I'll do that. But a glitch caused me to lose the blue hair, so I got to recustomize him and make him look the way I actually wanted him to look.
That's good. So, Ubisoft's at it again, guys.
Dear God, because, why wait for the Assassin's Creed movie to come out and see how it does? Let's just start up another one.
This would be the third movie they're going
Yeah, because they actually came out with Prince... Well, that was Disney, though. Prince of Persia was
there's a
Disney.
Watch Dogs movie coming.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Ubisoft Motion Pictures has announced there will be The Division movie.
Tom Clancy's The Division.
Which has no involvement from Tom Clancy because he's dead.
Yeah.
His name is Al Brandt. And it will star Jessica Chastain, who is in Interstellar and Zero Dark 30, and Jake Gyllenhaal, who was from End of Watch, Nightcrawler, which he's great in. That movie's dark, but it's good.
Yeah.
And... hey, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time!
I'm offended that you're forgetting about the best Jake Gyllenhaal movie of all time.
What?
Bubble Boy.
Oh yeah, well, that was so early in his career. I don't
love
think
that
of
movie,
it.
though.
That movie, I know that movie.
It's so good.
The mud wrestling scene.
$500. Anyway,
If I can just say something really quick, as
Mm-hmm.
a kid, I actually kind of wanted like that whole like tunnel system set up in his house, just because I thought it was kind of funny and like kind of cool. Like here, let's just have random like tunnels and stuff.
I remember when we had word that Jake Gyllenhaal was playing the Prince of Persia, and all I could think about was Bubble Boy playing the Sands of Time.
Yeah.
Prince of, it's so funny to
That
me.
movie is so bad though.
It's so good. I love it.
At least he got to ride ostriches in that. So hey.
Oh, you're in the Prince of Persia. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm still reminiscing of Bubble Boy.
Yeah, I'm talking about how bad Prince of Persia was.
So yeah, Tom Clancy's The Division's getting a movie.
Yeah. Apparently they'll both be part of the development process through their production companies, Freckle Films,
What have they done?
no idea, and 9 Stories.
Okay.
I don't know. The pandemic-stricken streets of The Division are filled with countless stories of love, loss, treachery, and heroism, but we'll have to wait to find out what avenues the film will explore.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
I'm reading this off the official Ubisoft blog, by the way.
Nice.
Its latest property to join the Ubisoft Motion Pictures production lineup, which also features Splinter Cell and Ghost Recon and Rabbids, which I didn't even know were being made into movies.
Ugh.
And of course, as you said, Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed,
Which
which
is coming out
has
in like
Michael
a month.
Fassbender in it. And I'm super worried about Assassin's Creed because,
It's a video game movie.
well, there's the inherent worry that comes with that. Because we all know there's only one good video game movie, and that's Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The greatest movie
that
ever made.
wasn't made out of a video game though. They made a video game with the movie,
It's video game themed, though. That's what I'm saying.
but it was made from a
You know what I mean, though.
But real talk, the only good video game movie ever made is Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter. Fight me.
Objectively,
Quick, change the channel.
objectively,
Best line ever.
objectively, I have to argue with you on that.
No.
But subjectively,
Fight me,
that
scrub.
movie is so much fun.
Fight me. That's the best movie
I will
ever.
street fight you.
Yeah.
Bad joke. Anyways,
So I love that movie.
shitpost. Anyways,
Shitpost the video game. Please name that the episode. Please name that the episode. Shitpost the video game.
but yeah, I think Street Fighter the movie is like one of those movies that's just like so bad it's good.
Yeah.
Which is
it's so terribly campy,
yeah.
and they get almost everything wrong.
Yeah. Blanca, what did they do to him? Oh my god. But yeah, The Division, it seems like a weird property to adapt into a movie, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because it's a multiplayer focused game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big draw of that, from what I understand, from what I understand of the meager fan base that it has now, because the drop off on that game was huge. Apparently,
Yeah, it dropped hard. It
yeah.
sold really well at first.
yeah, like nobody I know who played it at first is playing it anymore, which was even very few people, just for my group of friends.
I had a lot of friends that worked at Walmart with me that bought it day one and played it for the first month.
Yeah.
And they quickly moved back to Destiny.
Yeah. It feels like a weird property to adapt because The Division is such a big focus on multiplayer and interactions between other players that to make a movie out of that just doesn't seem right.
What seems worse to me is our AAA companies now have seen more, like they're looking toward movies more than they are their own video games now.
Well, I think part of it with Ubisoft, and you can say this about Nintendo as well, is they want to make their properties multimedia.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sonic with Sega as well. They want to take their properties and expand outward.
Yeah. And that's not inherently a bad thing.
Yeah.
But with like Ubisoft specifically, because about Nintendo, at least they're still focused on the video game
Yeah.
aspect of it. I mean, I don't
I think
care.
Ubisoft views it more from the perspective of a franchise
Yeah.
than just here's a video game and oh hey it has potential as a movie.
'Cause, like, video games are the thing I care about the most. Period. I will never not love video games more than I love any other media on the planet. So it upsets me when I see this kind of thing because it's like, just make a new Assassin's Creed game. Make a good Assassin's Creed game because you haven't done that in 4 years.
Debatable.
I love Black Flag.
I'm just saying there are some people there's probably people out there who think the top Assassins with top hats is the best Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassins with top hats.
I can't remember the name of the last one.
Syndicate?
So yeah, I couldn't remember the name. And in my head, I think of it as Assassins with top hats.
Syndicate was good. It was better than anything. Was better than Unity.
I think the thing with Assassin's Creed is it fails to innovate in a direction that makes the game interesting because Unity added in.
I think why I love Black Flag so much.
Unity added in multiplayer, which nobody asked for.
Nobody wanted.
Syndicate. What did it fucking do? Like
there were
you could write carriages.
Yeah, you could write carriages.
Yeah, who cares about that?
It's pretty cool.
It's all right, but it's not really something people really were asking for.
I think with the whole carriage writing thing, they were trying to find something to combat the success of Black Flag.
Yeah,
you can't exactly you can't go.
Well, Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag, they had that ship combat, which nobody was asking for.
In 3, it wasn't very apparent though. It was like a test thing, and they went, "This is working. Let's go pirates," and it was beautiful.
Yeah,
Ubisoft, please.
I mean,
I want Black
Flag
too.
Yeah, sure. Nobody asked for the ship combat, but it worked.
Could you imagine
really well.
if Ubisoft did a Pirates of the Caribbean game?
It'd be fucking great.
Oh my god, it would be so good.
It'd be better than the Pirates of the Caribbean games we already have.
That's for sure.
I
want that to happen. Can that happen?
You failed to make a good movie game when the best video game version of a movie is the level in Kingdom Hearts.
Ouch, shots fired. God.
And I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan, but come on, that Pirates of the Caribbean level sucked. But legit, Ubisoft could definitely do that.
But I don't like this sort of thing.
I mean, one thing that I can at least say is good about how Ubisoft is handling turning these into movies is they're hands-on with it.
Yeah.
They have their own motion picture company,
sure.
Ubisoft Motion Pictures, which means that they're hands-on with it. They are.
It's still their property. It's not like they license the property to somebody that doesn't know anything about it.
It's not like what happened with Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, where
Street Fighter.
Yeah, or Street Fighter. Well, that was Capcom. I'm using specifically an Ubisoft example where they gave those rights to Disney.
Oh, okay.
What does Disney know about Prince of Persia? Apparently fucking nothing, because they threw ostriches in there.
So fuck all.
I know I'm still going on about the ostriches, but why is there ostrich racing in my fucking Prince of Persia movie? That makes no goddamn sense! What the fuck, Disney?
Because chocobos.
That's fucking Final Fantasy! That's not Prince of Persia! This makes no goddamn sense! Get your Game Lab shit out of here, because it makes no fucking sense!
Alright, you knew what I was going for. Cool. Wow. Rant over? Are we done here?
I'm still salty about that movie, if you can't tell. How's your hearing? Can you still hear?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh my god.
Noah, you okay?
My voice got shrill.
Okay, Noah's good.
She's still able to play Spelunky, so she's good.
I think we're done there. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on before I rant again. My blood is you got my blood boiling.
Okay.
Oh great, more Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no, it's my turn to rage. Not really. I'm actually okay with this. So there's a new video game coming out for PC. It's been inspired by Final Fantasy 15 and Devil May Cry.
Because when you think of two games that need to cross over,
it looks good from what I've seen.
Oh no! I'm just throwing shit out there.
Right.
I actually do agree. It does look good.
Lost Soul aside, you can find this on YouTube. There's like a 5-minute trailer. It looks really good. There's tons of gameplay. It's all being designed by one person. His name is Yang Bing. I'm fairly certain. Lost Soul aside is a video game inspired by both Final Fantasy 15 and Devil May Cry. The main character looks a lot like Noctis.
He almost looks like Noctis with brown hair and a tiny little ponytail.
He looks like Samurai Noctis. That's how I like to think of him. He's got a sword and he's got like the samurai ponytail thing going for him. And
the combat, it's almost like Devil May Cry. It's really flashy.
If you look at the Divine Edition of DMC.
Yeah, of DMC 4?
No, the special edition of DMC with the 60 frames a second.
Oh, okay.
It looks that good.
Okay.
60 frames a second.
Oh, wait, you're talking about DMC Devil May Cry, like the reboot. Okay, the reboot. Good. Yes. I thought you were talking about like original DMC.
But that kind of action without the guns.
Yeah.
Or the demonic abilities.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it does look a lot like that. There's a bit more zipping around.
Yeah.
It definitely looks more.
It's got it's got a lot more of an anime feel.
Yeah. It's almost like, those cool flashy attacks from Final Fantasy if you were actually actively doing them.
Yeah.
And not just seeing it in, like, cutscenes and, like, oh, here, let me press, an option on a menu.
Right. What are your thoughts on what we saw?
I think it looks interesting. It looks more like Final Fantasy than it does Devil May Cry. I'm curious to see what the story's really about, because they had story elements in the trailer, but I didn't really get a good feel for what it was.
It's hard for me to hear.
It was like this weird dragon-looking monster.
Yeah, that thing looked awesome.
It looked awesome, but
He had to fly on it. He was flying. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that until you mentioned the dragon. He was fucking flying.
It looked like Saints Row got out of hell, but actually good, right?
That's a good way of putting it. My biggest concern.
I actually
with it,
like the flying controls in that game. Just to say this real quick, I actually like the flying controls in that game just fine. But I feel like they could have been better. Go on.
My biggest worry right now is how much can he get away with this?
Yeah.
Because a lot of like the aesthetics of the scenery look like they were ripped right out of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, like
the character looks like he was ripped from Final Fantasy 15.
Like there's there's inspiration and then there's copywriting.
I don't know where the line is between an inspired work and flat out plagiarism.
Yeah, because it looks like it's Final Fantasy 15. I've seen you play the demo. I played a little bit of one of them.
Yeah.
And it looks almost exactly like that. Like the environment isn't the same environment, but the style of it is so spot on. If and we can talk about if it's plagiarizing or not, which I don't think it's fully on plagiarizing, but
it's somewhere in that blurry line.
And I feel like part of it might be because it's one guy working on this.
Yeah.
Which it looks amazing for one guy working on this.
He spent 2 years, which is hilarious to me, thinking that one guy with 2 years of work can do more than Square Enix can in 10. But
well,
with a team of people,
you don't know how much completion is done on this, but
let me rage.
But it's amazing what he's been able to accomplish. Mm-hmm. It's all in Unreal 4, which is a great engine, by the way.
From what I've heard,
there's a reason Kingdom Hearts 3 is using it, which let's not go into that.
Yeah, that game that's never going to be released.
Shush. Just insert that
post the video game.
Just insert a clip from. Just insert the Yellow Diamond clip from Steven Universe of her yelling, "Shut your mouth!"
Yeah, you'll have to give it to me, and I'll insert it if you give it to me. I don't watch Steven Universe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that on Watch Listen Play. I was watching Steven Universe.
I'll get around to it eventually, guys.
But I mean, it looks really good for one person. I kind of hope he can get more people to work on it with him.
I would love a demo.
Yeah.
Because that's what sells me, is being able to play the game myself.
But what I want is I want more people working on it with him.
Sure.
Just because, one, it'll get out faster.
Yeah.
And two, it looks so much like Final Fantasy 15. I feel like if more people worked on it, it could become something more than just
transform into its own thing.
Yeah, something more than just Final Fantasy 15. Mm-hmm. Inspired, maybe become its own thing, because it feels like it's too much like that.
Right.
Just from the aesthetics.
Sure. I really look forward to seeing more. I'm planning on sending an email to Mr. Gangbang and seeing if we can get him on the show, maybe.
Yeah.
At this late episode 11 into the series, I'm so desperate for a guest. I'm just like, I'm gonna contact everyone and see who messages me back.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I would love to have him on the show, though, and talk about what we've seen, what we could possibly see, maybe get a demo.
Yeah. Definitely. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Seems interesting.
Let's move on to some more movie/series news. Did we ever confirm if it's going to be like a ongoing episodic
According to
series?
Anime News Network, it is a film.
Okay.
Which is weird because the series already got 3 films.
Yeah.
So it's just an American remake. Death Note is getting a live action film for Netflix.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Let's go into the cast. How we
Yeah.
see what.
Okay, so here's the thing. So it's quite clearly being remade with an American cast for an American audience
it's
in
being-
America.
Being Americanized, guys.
Yeah.
So
You've got Nat Wolff from
I'm,
The Fault in Our Stars and Paper Towns. I have no fucking idea who this
I'm
guy is.
not looking forward to the ragey comments from my anime friends.
Because, well, here's the thing. He's a white guy and he's playing Light.
yeah.
But not Light Yagami.
Light
Turner.
I just now saw that. What the fuck? Because, Yagami's too hard to say for us. So
Oh, it's too Japanese.
It's too Japanese, man.
I mean, hey, we had what's-her-face, playing the character from Ghost in the Shell. So.
To be quite honest, I don't care what they rename him. As long as he goes as batshit crazy as Light did at the end.
Holy fucking shit.
That's all I want. I want that
I will never
scene.
I will never forget the moment from Death Note R, which is a retelling of the first arc of Death Note. It reuses a lot of animation from that, but they added in a new ending where Light is laughing maniacally and screaming at L's grave, and it's fucking wonderful.
I bet.
He
That
goes-
sounds awesome.
Yeah, he's on his hands and knees, and he's just laughing at L, who's dead, and he's it's just it's wonderful.
I bet. Speaking of L,
Keith Stanfield
he's black now.
from Short Term 12 and Straight Outta Compton is L. Yeah.
I'm not laughing at this because he's a black guy. I don't care really that much as I don't care about an all-female cast for Ghostbusters
Yeah.
or whatever. Cast a character, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have to make Johnny Storm black. You didn't have to make Elle black.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like you said, I don't care that he's black.
That's not why I'm laughing.
I don't see this guy as L.
No.
Which,
No.
I mean, there's always going to be the argument of, well, did you ever think Heath Ledger would be a good Joker? But, yeah,
Heath Ledger looked like the Joker when we first saw him, at least. We went, I don't think he's going to pull it off, but at least he looks like the Joker.
Yeah, and there's a very clear image of what L looks like
Yeah.
from the manga and the
He
anime.
doesn't have the long hair.
He has the long, greasy hair, and
Yeah.
he's got the dark circles around his eyes, and
We'll see if he even
he crouches
sweets.
and eats sweets. Yeah, I'm
I don't-
wondering.
I doubt he'll do that.
Does this guy look like
I
someone?
bet he'll be primp and proper and
Yeah,
an asshole, and I'll hate him even more, and I'll laugh even harder when he dies.
yeah. We've got Margaret.
My girlfriend doesn't like the fact that I didn't like Elle at all, and I was happy when he died in the series. Sorry.
And then you got Nier, and you're like, bring him
Yeah,
back,
that was
right?
exactly it, actually.
God, that
Who
second
is-
arc
Who is this fucker?
gets hurt by that second arc gets hurt by its villain, antagonist. Really. Margaret Qualley, who was in The Leftovers as Mia Sutton.
Who I'm guessing is Misa Misa?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing.
I don't know. My problem with some of these.
She
is-
looks desperate enough. I mean, cool.
Yeah. Somebody love me! I'll kill people so somebody will finally love me.
imagine a world without light. Yes, that would be dark. Shit post.
Shit posts the podcast. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
We'll rename the podcast for everybody. We know what you came for.
Oh my god.
Paul, so what's great about this? Paul Nakauchi
Yeah.
from the Clone Wars, isn't that the animated series?
Yeah. He voices Sifo Dyes and Savette in Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Thank you for looking that up because I never would have.
Yeah, he's in like 2 episodes.
playing
He's
with-
in 2 episodes of the show, and I have no fucking idea who
He's
he
playing
is.
Watari?
Here's the thing: I know him from The Legend of Korra, though, where he plays an acupuncturist.
Nice. He's playing some dude named Watari?
Oh,
I don't remember from Death Note if
Where's
that's the
the-
actual character's name.
Watari.
Watari. I'm sorry.
Yes, oh
It
God.
was Elle's butler.
Oh,
Yes,
cool.
he plays Watari, and Watari is fucking awesome. Yes. So
My girlfriend is getting triggered. It's cool. What I don't get about this, though, is you left his name alone, but you had to change Yagami to Turner.
well, the one thing with him is that he is actually
And
Asian.
you made him an Asian stereotype on top of that. You couldn't just Americanize him like you did everybody else.
The one character you keep Asian, and you make him the fucking butler. Really? What? Good God, guys, come on. Moving on though, Shea Wigham from Boardwalk Empire as James Turner.
The dad, I guess?
I'm guessing that's Elle's dad because of
No,
Turner.
Light's dad.
Oh yeah, sorry, Light's dad. They both start with L. Okay.
Yeah, no, I know. That
And it's
threw
been a
me at
while
first.
since I've watched the show. That I don't really. He looks like he could be a cop, so I'm fine with that.
The greatest part to me, though, is the newest edition. William Dafoe
Willem Dafoe.
from Spider-Man Beyond Two Souls fame is playing Ryuk the
Ryuk the
Shinigami.
Shinigami is played by Willem Dafoe.
I swear to
Holy
God,
shit.
when this movie comes out, I'm gonna find a single clip from it of Ryuk's face, and I'm gonna put in the "Where's Spider-Man" line. I'm gonna make that a video. It's gonna be on my YouTube channel. That's how I'm gonna introduce it. It's gonna be my new intro.
No light, we attack his heart. My favorite line from that movie.
It's so funny.
Works perfectly in this context. Jesus Christ, Willem Dafoe.
Did you ever think we would see this?
No, I never thought. Like, they've been throwing around the idea of a Death Note, like an American-produced Death Note movie
so
for years, and I never thought it would actually fucking happen. Because, like, it's so because of the Shinigamis, it's very entrenched with Japanese culture with those.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can probably just translate that to God of Death, whatever.
Yeah, they will. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, they'll Americanize it.
They'll Americanize the shit out of it.
I'm getting like flashes of like, I'm getting PTSD flashes of Dragon Ball Evolution right now, man. Fucking don't ruin this,
I hope
guy.
to God it's that bad. I cannot. I'm going into this movie expecting it to be that bad.
Like, if this movie has to be an R-rated sort of thing, because if they make it
Oh, it won't be.
PG-13,
It won't be.
it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Okay, so maybe.
So
Maybe.
yeah, if this was going into theaters, it would definitely be PG-13. And I mean,
Gotta sell it to the kids.
Well, while teens will read Death Note, and it's even been banned in many schools. My high school had Death Note though in the library, so that shit was fucking awesome.
My high school had Rave Master.
My high school, I think it had that too. My high school weirdly had a lot of manga.
Yeah.
It had a decent portion of
Actually,
of Fullmetal Alchemist in it
I
for
think
some
it's
reason.
I don't know if I kept it or not, but when I actually had manga, I found one. It was a hardback copy of Naruto 18.
Yeah.
And it had the library sticker from my old middle school in it.
Wow.
And so I was like, what the fuck? And I kept it. I was like, it's mine now, but cool.
This series can go so wrong so fast, and it's because you're taking in Japanese property and you're trying to Americanize it. And
We'll see.
yeah, and it's very much it's very much not something you would typically see in an American property.
It's coming out next year.
Yeah.
We'll watch it.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely
We'll
watch
give
it.
you a review.
Yeah.
Oh, I am not expecting much from it though.
Yeah. Let's see.
Where's Spider-Man?
They have a lot of executive producers on it, so they've got Vertigo Media's Roy Lee, who worked on Dark Water, The Lake House, and Shudder. Lin Pictures' Dan Lin, who worked on The Side of the Truth. Sherlock Holmes, I'm assuming the one with Robert Downey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Lego Movie, which was good. Viz Productions' Jason Hoffs, who worked on Edge of Tomorrow, and actor Masi Oka, who was on Heroes and Hawaii Five-0. They're producers. And then Doug Davison, who worked on Dark Water, The Grudge, and The Lake House, which are a few good signs. Like, The Grudge is a good sign.
Yeah.
That's very much a Japanese kind of horror. I'm assuming that's the American version, but still,
Yeah.
that's something that is an example of adapting a Japanese property to an American property.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen it myself. I think I heard good things about it, but I haven't seen it myself.
I'm really interested
And then
to
there's
see.
Brian Witten, who worked on Dark City, American History X, and Final Destination, who's also the one of the executive producers. Which Final Destination is a good horror film.
First one was.
Yeah, well, yeah, the first one. So I think that works out pretty well. Just real quick on that, I think the fifth one deserves some recognition.
Okay.
The fifth one is that.
I stopped watching after the third one.
Oh,
so.
the fourth one is shit. Don't watch it, but the fifth one I think is good. But yeah, I think from the producer and executive producer side of things, it looks alright. They've got Adam Wingard, who worked on The Guest and You're Next, who is directing, and Jeremy Slater from Fantastic Four penned a recent draft of the script. Now, which Fantastic Four that is, I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter.
Well, some would argue that the first one was alright.
It was okay.
I'm gonna actually
It was not great.
talk about what you're gonna
It
talk.
gave us Captain America.
Yeah, talk about what you.
I'm really interested in how they adapt the story of Light, going from normal kid to kid with the book that gives him the able to kill whoever he knows the name of and can see.
Jesus Christ, it was the recent one. Anyways, go on. Fuck my life.
to I'm going to use this for good. I'm going to kill murderers and all these bad people in the world, and I'm going to create this new good world. To I am God and you will bow to me.
Yes.
To the toppled king that goes insane at the end.
There's so much that goes on with that character, and I hope
Yeah.
they can pull it off. Looking at this guy's writing credits on IMDb, he has very few. He's definitely a more recent screenwriter. He's done something called The Lazarus Effect and Pet.
Lazarus Effect was okay.
Yeah. He wrote an episode for a new Exorcist TV show, which it looks to be based off the movies. But that's still filming, so it's currently out on whether or not that's good. But
we'll see.
hopefully, he has a little under his belt that I can give him
Like the
a
benefit
pass
of the
on
doubt.
that bad movie.
Well, even Spielberg has a bad movie.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah, it's like we said, everybody has a bad movie. I'll give him a pass on this. Hopefully, it'll be fine. This is one of my favorite phrases. I'm cautiously optimistic.
we forgave Nintendo for Mario's Missing and Mario's Time Machine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, which weren't made by Nintendo, so we should probably give them a pass on that anyway.
Just to end off this segment, I'm reading the bottom of this article on Anime News Network. They're talking about all the other adaptations of Death Note. The manga also inspired a stage musical by Broadway veterans in 2014.
Oh God! Of course it did. What?
There is a Death Note stage musical, everybody. It probably won't be worse than that. So, let's move on. Our final topic for this week,
This is gonna be the
Nintendo
longest
Power.
podcast ever.
Yeah, we're ending on a very good note. Nintendo Power's first 13 years of issues are now available online for free.
Are they now available?
That's what you
Is
said.
it? Did I say that? I said
Yeah,
are
that's what it
coming.
says on. No, that's what it says on this article.
Oh, okay.
for
Okay. I said
now-
on the notes I wrote are coming because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Cool. They're already available. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Your history with Nintendo Power?
I don't have much. I knew it was a thing. I grew up Sega.
You poor unfortunate soul.
I love Sega. I think it's not as good, but it had some good games. I like Vector Man. Fight me.
Vector Man is actually a really cool game, and I remember seeing that as a kid and was like, "Oh my god, I want to play that game." And never did until I was like 20. So until like a month ago. I grew up with Nintendo Power. I grew up with some of the later ish. Well,
I dig the drawings and stuff.
yeah, I grew up with sort of like the midway through the run issues. I think my first issue was either Majora's Mask or Paper Mario. So either October 2000 or February 2001. I know I have the Pokemon Stadium 2 issue still somewhere in my house. And they have these issues. It goes all the way to June 2001.
Cool.
So that's 145 issues of Nintendo Power.
Wow.
Now you're playing with power. And they're all on archive.org. Actually,
Which is awesome.
yeah. And gosh, I'm just looking at this Game Boy Advance issue, and I'm getting nostalgia like hitting me so hard. Like that cover for that issue is so ingrained in my brain.
So, the first question I want to have for this is, other than like the nostalgia factor of being able to go back and read those old Nintendo Powers that you might not have anymore, does this serve any like good for like walkthroughs or anything like that when you could just go find a walkthrough on YouTube?
I think it's nice that, these somewhat official walkthroughs are now available online for free.
Okay.
Because that's what they were. They were officially from Nintendo.
Right.
At least at this point in time, because I know Nintendo Power did at one point get picked up by a different company.
These 13 years of Nintendo Power.
And just as a cultural thing, I think it's a big deal.
That's probably that's a good point.
The whole thing with archive.org is, it's trying to archive things, for cultural prosperity.
Culturally, I could see that. That's cool.
Yeah, because, here's a time capsule. Here's a time capsule, basically, that we just unearthed of 13 years of video game culture.
This goes from 1988 to 2001?
Yeah, I know to 2001.
That's 13 years.
Yeah.
It'd be 88.
Okay, fine.
Math skills. I mean, whatever.
But, it's here's a walkthrough. I'm just going through an issue right now. Here's a walkthrough of Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Here's Poke Center where they're talking about different Pokemon, and here's a team someone built with Houndoom, Victreebel, Ampharos, Suicune, Lugia, and Scizor. They're talking about Pokemon the third movie and these different spin-off games and how to get to and walkthroughs for different Pokemon. Like, here's how you get a Hitmontop. Here's how you get Pichu and Puzzle Challenge. How do I get in the basement of Goldenrod City and Mystery Gift and all this stuff. And they talked about connecting a Game Boy Color to a phone, which that feature never came out here in the U.S., but that was in Japan. So, getting to see, showing how they had plans for that. And there's a huge multi-page spread on Pokemon the third movie, by the way, showing off Magi or Magi Nation, which looks to be a Game Boy Color game. Do you even know that game?
No.
Exactly. But here it is. Project M, whatever that is.
Project M? Like the Smash Brothers thing? No.
Yes.
It was the Smash Brothers thing, though?
Technology has produced many modern marvels, but the greatest wonders may be far around the U-Bend. Imagine traveling to China or the North Pole in the blink of an eye using a warp pipe inspired by Nintendo's own Mario. This is just...
What?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, and Counselor's Corner, so they're talking about different tips and
Paper
stuff.
Mario.
Yeah, Paper Mario, dude. And here's
Majora's
Majora's Mask
stuff.
and Wario Land and
Defeating God.
the freaking
Oh my god.
contest.
I remember the Game Boy Color Razors, a video game.
Yeah,
the
here's a
scooters.
contest
Oh god.
where grand prize you win a custom Razor scooter and the Razor freestyle scooter game for Game Boy Color. Second prize you get a Razor T-shirt, and third prize you get a Nintendo Power T-shirt. They got Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine and Game Boy Go-Go. Do you remember Game Boy Go-Go? Do you remember that section?
No.
I do.
I never had Nintendo Power growing up.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I remember the section, and they have the now playing review section, which I always loved, and it's there's nostalgia, and then it's got all this documented. It's got every bit of it. Every ad, every article is here.
That's cool.
And it's preserved, and the scans are about as high quality as you could expect for something this old, and it's all here. And I think it's absolutely wonderful that we have all of this archived.
Do you think there's any chance of people creating like bootleg versions of old Nintendo Power now?
What do you mean, like versions?
Like printing new versions of old Nintendo Power magazines, like the ones that we know are expensive.
I don't think they're gonna
try to turn a profit.
I think these scans are so low quality.
Okay.
Like they're high enough.
They're too low quality.
Like, they're high enough quality to where you can read them, and they look good, and you can tell what everything is saying.
Right.
But they're old, but they are low quality enough to where you can tell these issues have been used.
Okay.
And
I mean, but where are you going to find a pristine version of a 1988 Nintendo Power?
Yeah, but the imperfections, are like if you printed this out on paper, you could see
You would see the imperfections. I got
you would see the imperfections that just don't add up.
I got you.
I think so. I don't think we're ever gonna get. I don't think you're ever gonna get bootlegs from this. But as a time capsule of years gone by,
Do you think there's any possible like mischief, like evilry that could happen, like that,
How
like
so?
bootleg or anything like that?
I highly doubt any bootlegs actually gonna come off of this. But I wouldn't be surprised if like someone like printed off like the PDF.
Yeah.
That this is probably a PDF. I wouldn't be surprised if someone printed it off, but I don't think that's going to be like a big issue.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's going to get fed up if somebody prints off a few pages of prints off a page of this so that they know how to beat the Powerpuff Girls, Bad Mojo Jojo. Or if they print it off because they want to they need some help in Paper Mario. Which has a fairly extensive.
I mean, but if you have trouble in Paper Mario, you could just YouTube search it.
Yeah, which is understandable.
I would prefer video either way. So
yeah, but it's just as I said before, as a cultural, as an archive of a cultural, thing. Like I think it's really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
think it's awesome.
You'll never see ads like the ads that you saw on Nintendo Power ever again. I mean, I'm looking at a Nintendo 64 one.
It's the 90s, man.
Yeah, and even this is very different from what you would see nowadays. You've got a little girl bursting forth from a blue Nintendo 64, shooting lightning from her fingers that forms a box that has Paper Mario, Banjo-Tooie, Pokemon Stadium 2, Paper Mario Guide, Pokemon Gold and Silver, Pokemon Gold and Silver Guide, Mario Tennis, and Donkey Kong Country, Game Boy Color systems, and Nintendo 64, and the SRB rating system, all in that box. that is made of lightning shooting forth from her fingertips.
Very nice.
But yeah, this is actually really cool, and even if you're never going to use it for any walkthroughs, it's cool
to look back.
It's cool to look back and see what things were like back then. Like
because it's retro, man.
Yeah, well, and you'll never see stuff like this again. Like you'll never see a major major video game publication nowadays that has a huge multi-page spotlight on Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers for the Game Boy Color.
What? Which,
by the way, I owned as a kid. Got it for Christmas from my aunt. The Christmas I got a Game Boy Advance, so it's like, well, whatever. You know what? Actually, yeah, I had this issue as a kid. I used this issue to get through that game. And you'll never see stuff like this from a major news publication ever again. Well, major video game publication ever again. Awesome. Because it's not what's going to appeal to the hardcore gamer, but back in the late 80s and in the 90s, the hardcore gamer was primarily a kid.
Yeah.
Someone who's probably going to play The Lion King, Simba's Mighty Adventure on Game Boy Color. Or someone
after my adventures with The Lion King, the video game on Sega Genesis, I would never touch another game titled The Lion King anything.
Yeah.
But go on.
This is the kind of person who would probably be interested in whether or not Tech Deck skateboarding is a good game.
Spoiler alert, no.
Spoiler alert, 2.5 stars. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really cool thing. Archive.com's got the first 13 years of Nintendo Power. How many issues did you say that was again?
I believe it is
130 something?
145.
145 issues of Nintendo Power.
A big highlight for me are issues 141, 142, and 143 because those show off some of the more iconic things from what I remember. What I remember as Nintendo Power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But that's our show, guys.
Where can people find you on the internet, Mr. Frank Wack?
All the same place as always. I'm on Facebook at the Dude Frank Wack. My GlitchCon photos should be up before this video comes up, so you can go check out my videos there. Facebook, I already said that. Twitter at the Dude Frank Wack. I don't post much. You can follow me, I guess. Go to my YouTube channel though. That's where all my stuff normally goes. And that one is Frank Wack Productions, because YouTube.
I'm Seawood Director. You can find me in Jet Jackson the Movie. Premieres Friday, June 8th on Disney Channel. No, I'm kidding. I'm just reading through an issue. Nintendo Power. The first jet-powered movie. Good God, these hats. Anyways. You're probably watching this on my channel, so please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate
You're
it.
hearing this part, you are.
Yeah.
This part doesn't go to my channel.
Yeah. Or maybe it's on that mysterious SoundCloud account that we have that we never post to. Because we can't.
Do you remember when that was a thing?
Remember the 90s? But
I promise we're working on getting this onto more platforms, guys.
yeah,
so
it just
bear
takes
with
time
us.
because we need money to be able to do that. And we don't have that.
And I have things that I can't talk about yet.
Yeah. It's true. We're working on some really cool stuff. But obviously you're watching this on my YouTube. Check me out on Twitter at Seawood Director. I post regularly. And not all of them are shit posts. So it's worth watching.
What?
It's worth looking at. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? You can also follow us on Facebook at Fandom Fighters Podcast on Facebook. We post updates about the podcast, and we also post stories that sometimes we feel may not be big enough for podcast, or just we don't have enough time for.
Yeah.
For example, Donkey Kong Racing for the Nintendo GameCube. Oh wait, no, that's from this archive issue of Nintendo Power. Bad jokes, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week
Yep. Bye,
with
guys.
more shit posts.
Shit post the video game.